What's happening, beautiful people?
One countdown's not enough.
What? Well, no, because I didn't hit live and I didn't want it to start out like in the middle of a countdown, so I had to let it run through once, then hit live and let it
Oh,
count down.
I thought they were watching it happen twice.
No, they didn't see it the first time.
So what the fuck is John doing?
What are all you weirdos up to?
Just 3 people.
Well, we got Sobix and Ground Fog and
I mean, we got 3 good ones. Don't get me wrong.
Todd Carr, Crispy Critter.
Let's
That's
see.
more than 3, dude. You can't count. You're doing the Alabama
No,
counting.
up here it says. Oh, now it says there's 7.
Why don't you just read the chat, and then you can count them. What's up, Crispy Critter? Copperlight Steve. Funny thing about Copperlight, it took me a while to find out exactly what the stuff was. I thought it was some kind of fancy handle material.
Doesn't have to do with poo.
Yeah, it's like fossilized dinosaur poo or some crap like that. There's a
Oh,
lady
no,
at work that makes jewelry that apparently has some. She makes jewelry out of fossilized poop. I want to go by and check it out.
You could actually go by and handle
Yep.
some for real copperlight.
Some prehistoric poo.
Copperlight, Steve, do you own any copperlight?
What's up, Jeffrey Dawson, Joe Isabella, and look at there.
Who is it? Oh, Kyle.
Oh, sweet Kyle Coonley.
He's so sweet.
He is. Back off.
I'll get some bracelets made. What would Kyle Coonley do?
What would Kyle Coonley do? Joe Isabella about to go make him a sandwich.
What kind of sandwich?
You can't just tell us you're making a sandwich and run.
We need to know. I mean, you're going full on Cuban or a Reuben or just a damn floppy roast beef sandwich or
maybe a grilled cheese.
That's not a sandwich. That's a delicacy. It's a difference.
Steve says not that he knows of, but he fondles Copperlight often.
Not yourself. We're talking about actual dinosaur poo. Have you handled any real copperlight?
He said he fondles Copperlight daily.
Fair enough.
D Metal, what's up, brother Def?
I'm still sore, dude. I'm pretty wore out. To be honest with you.
What you been doing?
I like driving.
Egg salad on rye for Mr. Isabella.
Now, I love me some egg salad.
Oh, I do too.
I like mayonnaise. I know that don't make any sense, but I love it.
Do you use Miracle Whip in your egg salad?
But I ain't eating it on no rye. I'm
maybe
fat
some roasted
and
rye.
southern. I want some good, soft, fresh bunny bread and some egg salad on it.
Yeah. How did the trip go?
It went interesting. It was an interesting trip, to say the least. Well, you guys know how down to the wire it was. I was having to answer the phone during my live stream, where the one time I really needed Brother John so that I could, take myself off the screen, let John handle it while I answered the phone call, but he wasn't with me.
Shit happened.
I was actually answering the phone during the live stream, working out the details. So I flew into Houston, then from Houston to Tulsa. And I didn't even have a fuel card, a credit card, nothing. They didn't send me with anything. So I had to...
Shane had to strip for gas money, is what he's saying.
Luckily, I still had a little money left on my card. And I spent right at $400 of my money getting that thing home. They did reimburse me and pay me on top of it. But, yeah, it was not well organized. Not at all. And when you pull up to the pumps, like out there where the diesel trucks pull up, you can't pay at the pump. There's no paying at the pump in the big diesel line. You got to go in, pay, go back out, pump, and then come back in and get your receipt.
Well, damn.
All the while everybody around you's sucking on chicken bones and cleaning the windshield.
Well, it's all part of the experience, though.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
you got to feel like a real trucker at a truck stop.
Yeah. I messaged Chuck it. It's like, Whole new level of respect, buddy. Hats off to you. I couldn't do this every day in and day out.
What
He
Chuck?
said something like he had an air ride suspension seat. That seat moved too. I don't know if it was air ride, maybe be springs, but it would have been way worse in something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Chuck it tell you? Man up.
No, I had one truck driver from Oklahoma call me a fucking pussy though. Pretty much. He's like, "What are you doing driving a big truck, boy? We real truck drivers out here in Oklahoma. Get back on your big wheel track." Okay.
Damn. It was just a short.
I know.
No need to get your knickers all in a bunch.
He did though, boy. He didn't like it.
He was upset at you.
I don't care what he says. Yeah, they roads is shit. Absolute shit.
I heard the plane didn't ride much better.
No, it did not. When I said it felt like they put me in a wooden crate and rolled me downhill for 3 hours, I am not exaggerating. There were people crying. It was bad, dude. People, I mean, legit. People thought they were going to die. That
What's up, Javon?
It was just fall and then catch itself, and we'd fly a few more feet. Yeah. I've got a bruise on my rib cage from the armrest. It hurts right now to touch it from banging against the armrest.
Did you scream like a girl?
No, I just got up and went to the bathroom. Was as sick as a dog. I took my shirt off in an airplane bathroom like this.
You thought you was
live?
Huh?
I was like, man, because the cabin was extremely hot and very, very humid. Everybody was complaining about it being so, and all of us had our vents on, but it didn't matter. Everybody was sweating. It was so bad in there. And so when I got in the bathroom, I took my shirt off, and I remember thinking, man, the air's actually cold back here. And I looked down, and I can see water droplets running down me. But it wasn't from the heat. I was sick. I got really sick. And I don't usually do that.
Seasick.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Got an Amber Alert.
Yeah.
I'm surprised mine ain't going off.
It probably will. I don't know where it was from.
Hey, those things saved too, because when I got off the airplane and turned it off airplane mode, I got three different Amber Alerts come on my phone. Yeah. So as it was catching them, it was just holding them until I turned it off airplane mode. And my phone just would not stop with the alarms. Just one Amber Alert after another. They were different kids too, from different states. But I guess when you're in airplane mode, it just holds all that for you.
Amber is Shane's wife.
Yeah.
I got an alert.
There's more than one Amber, apparently. Oh, man. There's a Javon right there.
Yes, sir.
Jeffrey Dawson. Crispy Critter.
Oh, crispy.
Oh, by the way, guys, all of y'all, a huge apology. I had the money. I had every intention in the world of stopping at a Buc-ee's and doing a video of knife shopping at Buc-ee's, because I know they have a knife counter. There is not a Buc-ee's within 3 hours of 40 East. I promise you. Like once an hour, I would check it. I'd say, hey, Goop, there it goes.
There's yours. What's up, Dopey? How's it going, brother?
About once an hour, I would say, hey, Google, get directions to the nearest Buc-ee's. Every time it was like 4 hours and 20 minutes away.
I know somebody that's an expert on Buc-ee's. They turned me on to the old beaver nuggets, so I would have made you bring me a bag of those if you had made it. One of them things are good. Jesus.
I ain't tried no beaver nuggets. I really do. I didn't eat lunch today because I kept thinking I'm going to find a Buc-ee's and I'm going to get a brisket sandwich. Never happened.
Dude, that would have been epic. You could have recorded yourself eating that brisket sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I was going to buy a knife and give it away Sunday. I'll still do that. Unfortunately, it's not going to be from Buc-ee's, I don't guess.
Next time you come to Huntsville, we can go to the one in Madison.
Yeah, it's in Athens.
Oh, is it in Athens? I thought it was one in Madison.
That may be. I just know there's one in Athens.
And I can film you there. We can have a whole production, dude.
Hey, look, my Uber driver just thanked me for the tip from yesterday. That's
Was
nice.
she hot?
Hey, I learned something too. All the Uber drivers in Houston, Texas, all drive the same vehicle. Literally, dude. I've never used Uber. Word of advice: if you're going on a trip and you think you might even need to use Uber, go ahead and download the app because it took 45 minutes to download off just my cell signal at the airport. Finally got it downloaded and called an Uber or ordered an Uber, and then realized that I was in the wrong spot.
There's the expert has spoken.
Who? It's
Read the screen. Yeah.
I told you it was Athens.
Well, it's because you said Madison earlier today. That's what fucked me up.
Oh. You know what? I think you're right. I think I did say that. Because I was thinking that it was, yeah. Anyway. But
Kyle's on his toes.
So I realized I was on the wrong side of the airport for him to pick me up. So I had to run back in the airport, up an escalator, the other side, and there's an actual Uber pickup spot. And when I got out there, there's 8 white Toyota Highlanders in a row, all Ubers. And I asked the guys, like, do all the Uber drive these Toyotas? He said, yes, all Uber. So if you're going to Uber, this is the car. All right. I can't agree with you. Toyota Highlander's a great vehicle. Dopey, no, I'm just, it's only like an hour and 45 minutes for me. I'll be driving there, buddy.
Yeah, a little bit further for us, but
yeah. Well, in all actuality, by the time, well, I'm not going to drive straight into Blake Show. I'm going to drive to my Airbnb. It'll probably be right at 2 hours. Then get up the next morning and drive in. I don't think it's far from there. No, Scott, I didn't break Uber.
A lot of Amber talk in the chat. A lot of people know some Ambers.
Yeah. Gary, I did sleep. I got there. I got the airport in Tulsa at 9:30. So I made it to the auction where the RV was parked by about 10. I started driving. I drove till 5. And I knew they'd pitch a fit if I got a decent hotel. So I found a Super 8 for $70. And I walked in the room a few minutes after 5. By 6 o'clock, I was out cold, and I slept till 6 o'clock the next morning. Which was, the time's so blurry, which was this morning. So I got up at 6 and hit the road again, and I got to my destination at 5 p.m. Well, 4:30.
Mark H. What is it? It's June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, right? Blade Show?
It's first weekend in June. I don't remember if it's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I don't remember.
I think it's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
For those of us who don't have a normal work schedule, dates mean nothing anymore, so I don't know. Yeah. Scott Inn's taking a train to Blade Show, I believe. Unless he was kidding. I know he had talked about taking a train. I thought to take a train somewhere.
I would too. I've never done that. What's up, Chicago? Good to see you, dude.
Well, I'd really like to take a train to Alaska. But I think that's like a 12-day trip from here. But I thought it'd be cool.
So I dated this girl once, and I was living in Marietta and working in like Fayetteville, Georgia. It's like an hour and a half drive. So we'd stay there on the weekends and then come back. Well, she was living I was working in Columbus, Georgia. She was living in Columbus. She came back with me a couple times to Atlanta, and she had met my roommate, Dustin. Well, she came back another time. He wasn't there. And she said, "Where's Dustin?" I said, "Well, and Dustin was crazy. He just like took a leave of absence from work and drove to Alaska and like camped in his car, slept in his car, spent like a week there and then came back." I said, "Well, he's not here. He drove to Alaska." She said, "You can't drive to Alaska." I said, yes, the hell you can. I said, he drove there in a little MR2. And she said, no, it's a little island in the middle of the ocean. You know how on the damn maps it's got the little.
Dude, it's so funny you say that because when I was a kid, we had to draw a map of the United States, and there was this particular location that I was interested in because I'd watched a movie about it recently. So I drew the map of the United States, and then I drew Alcatraz Island. I added Alcatraz Island because I thought it was cool, but I put it off the coast of New York. I had no idea it was on the other coast. But I was really young. I remember my teacher telling me it was really cool that I included that, but it was on the wrong coast.
It was cool, but you're dead wrong. So.
Yeah, that's cool, Shane. You're still an idiot. I mean, it was just like my fourth year in second grade, so whatever.
The fifth year, you knew where the hell Alcatraz was,
exactly.
Didn't you?
I passed that test.
Brother Q-Ball, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. It's good to see you, and look forward to seeing you in Atlanta again. Did you get to hang out with Q-Ball?
Hey, let me tell y'all a commercial I heard while I was in Arkansas.
Well, answer my question first.
Did
you get to hang out with Q-Ball last year?
For a few minutes.
Okay.
I saw him several times in passing and stop and talk, but I stopped by the house. Q-Ball's the reason why I bought my American Blade Works.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he showed me his, and
he showed you his. You showed him yours.
Yeah, kind of. But I was on a little tighter budget, so I didn't get the titanium. That I don't really care that much about titanium. I'm looking down at my table now, and it's literally, it's predominantly micarta. There's a couple of G10s, but predominantly micarta. I'm a big fan of micarta. I know somebody here hates micarta. I can't remember. Anyway, the commercial I heard, the reason I thought about it is, like I said, that Super 8 has actually been renovated, which means they painted over the bloodstains. But it was clean. It was nicer than I thought it would be for $70. And it had a pool, an indoor pool, and everything. Wasn't bad. I'm pretty sure it was like an old La Quinta Inn, and somebody had bought it. And
I think it's pronounced La Quinta.
Yeah, La Quinta.
There you go.
But anyway, like I said, that was $70. Well, the reason why this commercial caught my attention, I was traveling through Arkansas, they were announcing that not VRBO, the other one. What's the other one?
What's the other what?
I just said it a minute ago.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Where you can rent a house, somebody's house.
Oh, Airbnb?
Airbnb, which I think is really funny, because I've seen the commercials where they talk about, total privacy, the owner's never home. Airbnb is starting a new budget line where you can rent just a bedroom. So the people are home, you can rent a bedroom, and you have access to common areas, bathroom, all that stuff overnight for people on a budget that are traveling.
That's been a thing.
My first thought was, serial killers, rapists are going to love it. But also, what a great investment that would be for a cat burglar or home invasion. You spend $67. You get to spend the entire night in the house, case the joint, probably figure out their schedule, and go back and take everything a few days later for a measly $67.
That's not bad. You going to do that?
No. Oh. I'm not that kind of person.
You just the kind of person that thinks of the plan. You don't.
Well, who's not going to think of that, dude? You're just going to rent your
plan.
Bedroom out, $67 a night to complete strangers. It's something horrible is going to happen. You watch.
Well, the thing is, like, they've been doing, because I've had people, like, I had friends that have stayed at Airbnbs, and it was actually like a part of their house that was made into an apartment, and they had common areas. It wasn't like just a bedroom. They had like their own kitchen and shit like that. Now, that'd be kind of weird, just renting a bedroom and you want to go down and make your eggs in their kitchen in the morning while they're pouring their cereal.
And Scott, I'm pretty sure that cost extra.
What's up, Brandon Sutton?
to swinger's house. Maybe they should say that it starts at $67. What you get on top of that might be extra. Ooh.
Wait, we talking about like a happy ending?
Yeah.
Oh, Cue Ball's playing with a kitten, trying to tire him out so he can get some sleep. Apparently, the kitten's name is Louie. And then, speaking of cats, Mark H. just looked out his window and saw a stray cat bathing in the sprinklers.
Let me tell y'all something. I ain't gonna give y'all the address where Grateful Panic and Javon live. But the coolest motherfucker in that house is the cat, by far. If you added all the coolness together, all the other living beings in that house and the houses that surround it, that cat still has them beat. And I'm not a cat person. I don't like cats. That cat is badass.
She kills shit.
Yeah. I've never went to Javon's house when there wasn't a dead animal laid in front of the front door. That cat kills shit and drops it in front of the front door to feed the two Johns.
Well, and if you wait too long, I guess she gets pissed and gets hungry and she'll eat the head off.
Yeah, I've never seen one with the head on it. Every time I've been there, there's a headless dead animal, whether it be a bird or a chipmunk or a squirrel, whatever. That cat is a killing machine.
I think there's a lizard thorax on the porch right now.
That's a cat I'd buy. I'd pay good money for a cat that kills lizards and 9-year-old kids on command.
Yeah, and this one she must have got extra hungry because it's like, I think its hands are gone, but it's got its front legs and then its body down to about its belly button, and then the rest of it's gone, and there's no head.
Oh, I thought you were kidding just to fuck with Maddie.
No, there's a legit.
How can we even be friends and you not send me a picture of that so that I could torture Eli with it?
I'll send you a picture.
All right.
I mean, I can go take a picture right now and send it to you.
I want it right now, actually.
All right, God damn it.
Sorry, guys, I couldn't resist. I have to have this picture of this half-eaten lizard. Not just because I despise lizards and kids that own lizards, but also because the coolest animal on the planet killed it. I'm sure you guys have seen it. If you watch Javon's lives, you'll see cruise by behind John's head every now and then. So that thing is contemplating murdering and eating him one day. I promise you. That cat studies nothing but death and dismemberment. It's a Discovery Channel episode just to watch him stalk the front yard and the graveyard across the street. I don't know how there are any small feral mammals left in that within a 4-block radius. Because they clearly don't need the food. John feeds him well. But he does some killing. W, you're probably right. I wouldn't doubt that at all. That cat provides enough protein to keep everybody in the house alive. They just eat it. It's kind of disrespectful when you think about it. Cat spends all day hunting, killing small animals. Oh, my phone went off.
Hey, there's probably a picture on there. Might want to check that.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
You thought I was bullshitting.
Eli, check this out, buddy.
Look at your lizard, homeboy.
Yeah. That's what we think of lizards down here in Alabama. Maddie, make sure you screenshot this. I'll hold it up there long enough for you to capture it.
Wait,
and make sure
just so we can get the full effect of this. How old is Eli?
9.
9. We're bullying a 9-year-old. You realize that, right?
Yeah, cyberbullying.
I know.
There ain't no laws against it just yet. They're trying. I legit thought you made that up because Mattisfaction's comment was on the screen. I thought you were setting me up.
No, sir. Speaking of which, where is Maddie? He's mighty scarce all of a sudden. Saw him just a few minutes ago, just all friendly and saying hi, and now he's not saying nothing.
Gary's comment.
There. especially if it's baby humans, because that's supper.
Yeah, yeah. Gary's cats are all fat from eating hobos. I
Read
showed him.
the.
I hope it made him cry. Hope he has nightmares. Hey, tell him, don't worry about that dead lizard. That's not near as scary as that thing living in his closet.
Yeah.
Gary's cats are wearing Gary like a Gary
Gary suit.
He hasn't been active with me.
I kind of want a Gary suit.
My phone went off again. Was that you?
No, not me.
So who just see? I know there's nothing more exciting than what
Oh my god, dude. that's the
there he
best time.
is.
Yep.
Baddest dude on the planet right
Killer.
there. Yeah. And then he'll come up to you all soft and rub against you and purr and let you pet him. The whole time, all he's thinking about is death and dismemberment.
But Shane, it's a she, dude. And read the comment.
Tell him I probably am. It's all good. He'll get his wish eventually.
Tell Eli that ship sailed long ago. He
Yeah.
does not have to wish Shane to hell.
Yeah, tell him I punched that ticket a long time ago. Oh, me. Why don't you just go to the opposite end?
No, sir,
Brandon. I
Brandon.
didn't do it. The cat did. I just showed Eli what happens to the lizard. And
you just rubbed it in the poor little tyke's face. I kind of hope you go to the opposite of heaven too. Damn it!
You're the one brought it up. I did in detail. So
just mentioning something that happened. Eli was not
mentioning something that happened. You told us exactly what body parts were gone, and
right, because that's what happened.
Send me another picture when the ants start eating it. Probably by tomorrow.
Okay.
Or gnats. If gnats start swarming around it, I like those pictures too.
That would be cool. And if there was a swarm of gnats and like a trail of ants to and from, and you could see the teeny little ants carrying pieces of lizard body on their back.
Dude, that would be epic.
And I might try, if I can, I'll get you a shot of one like nibbling on it and getting his sustenance.
Zoom in real close.
Yeah.
I want to see his little pinchers. pulling off little pieces of lizard meat.
and chittering like Eli.
Dopey said, "I'll see you there, Shane." I thought you were talking about Blaze Show, honestly, but yeah, I'll see you both, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Be in good company.
Scott's still on it. If I meet Gary, I'm bringing catnip just to be safe. Has anybody tried that? I wonder how much catnip a human could consume.
How do you would you smoke it?
I don't know. I mean, they just eat. No, they don't even eat it. They just
smell it. It gets them all hot and bothered.
That's the way I was with cocaine. I didn't smoke it, or I just love the odor.
You love the smell of it, huh?
I get really close. I can smell it.
Every once in a while, just shoot right up your nose when you get too close.
Yeah, that sucks when that happens.
That just get them side effects.
Goes away for a little while though.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't even like cocaine. I've tried it 3 times and felt absolutely nothing. And I don't want to hear you guys' bullshit about, oh, you didn't try the right stuff. That's what everybody said. That's why I tried it 3 times. Oh, man, that was garbage. You try this. Just don't affect me.
You didn't even get talkative or nothing? You're already talkative.
Nothing to me. Yeah, I'm already talkative. How would we know?
Knife Nut.
I just talked about snorting cocaine on YouTube, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. We can't even answer that question. But now you just went and said it. Earlier you said you just like the smell of it and you were smelling it. Now you had to go and throw snort in there.
Yeah, well, don't do drugs, kid. Drugs are bad.
Mike Jernak.
Yeah. That was all the state of California's fault. All that happened in California. I love that guy, man.
That needs to be on a T-shirt.
What as we meet Scott in at Blade Show, and he's the most boring, bland human being you've ever met. He don't crack any jokes. He's just dull. That'd almost be more incredible, in all honesty. if he's completely not who he
What,
is online.
what's up, One Moon,
Oh
brother
man,
Steven?
George, I used to love cocaine. I bet you did. You look like one of them kind of guys. Yeah. Bet you kept a little rolled up dollar bill in your pocket and everything, didn't you?
No, a Sonic straw.
But I was the same way with that other really popular drug down here in the South. That
Methamphetamines?
yeah, that one. I just, dude, I swear to God, I could eat like 4 stackers and get the exact same result. Is that what they were called? Stackers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Like filling
stacker
something up.
twos and the yeah.
Yeah.
What's up,
And I did a
Demonite?
large quantity of it in one day. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I had energy. I run around. I said I ain't never seen you move that fast or that much in one day. But it just wasn't. It wasn't enjoyable enough to make me want to do it again in the near future. Nor could I ever imagine losing everything I owned and everybody I love over it. So he did though. Yeah, my brother's quite the story. He you guys that follow my family tree thing know that my brother Kevin and I don't share a dad; we share a mom. And his dad got killed by a drunk driver. Kevin was an adult when it happened, on his way home from the golf course, and the guy that hit him was a multi millionaire. So they got a large settlement, and Kevin was penniless in within 2 years. Yeah, and
Damn.
not only was he penniless, he was as at rock bottom as any human being I've ever seen. But the only reason I'm telling you this is because now he works for the former governor of Georgia and runs a hugely successful cattle farm and is sought after all over the country for his cattle knowledge. This is a guy that didn't graduate high school. So, um, not only can you overcome it, you can overcome it and still be very successful in life if you put forth the same amount of effort you put into acquiring drugs and doing drugs into bettering your life. It's 100% possible. He's been clean for, I know it's over 10 years now, probably close to 15, but I'm telling you, I'd already made my peace with it. I didn't have a brother anymore. He was either going to prison for life or was going to die, one of the two.
The dude that on the rehab that I went to, he used to say that a lot. If you put as much effort into
Well, see, and that was
changing your
what,
life as you did into acquiring drugs.
yeah, that was what was fortunate about him was everything he's ever done, he dove into head first and just lived it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody was more serious about what they were doing than what he was doing at that time. Some of it prior to that was constructive. So he already had that personality. So when he decided he was done, he actually went to Wilmington, North Carolina to a rehab up there.
Dude,
Stayed
I
there
went to
like,
that. That was the first one I went to. And
was it?
Wilmington,
Did you work
Wilmington.
for the did you work for the moving company?
No, no.
Okay, this one owns a moving company and everybody works
Oh,
that
I went.
goes there works for the moving company.
Oh,
Moving
okay, I
company.
went to Wilmington Treatment Center. He's probably at like a privately owned
Yeah,
deal.
it was right there by the college.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um, but yeah, he stayed there 11 months and got clean. And luckily, when he dove into sobriety and bettering his life, he did it with that same tenacity. And, yeah, very proud of him, man. I love that guy more than just about anybody on the planet. Until my grandson got here, there wasn't anybody close. So I'm glad he's still here.
There's been Kyle has just made a whole little story about you. And coming down the final stretch, we have this huge ass bald white boy trotting along, but it's like a full spring passing up Umbapqua, whatever that Umbapqua
Dude,
in Sudan.
I picked up a chick at the drag strip
Was
that
she
night.
heavy?
No, she was hot. That night with the lamest line. It was the night I was talking about. I'd done the large quantity. It was the Nopi Nationals. I don't know if you remember Nopi. That got
Yeah.
moved. Yeah. Where they had a bubble pit. And this chick's in there. She's got like a pair of khaki shorts and a bikini top dancing in the bubbles. Everybody's staring at her, you know. And when I walked by, I said something, and she turned and she said, "Did you say my name?" And I said, "I did. If your name's God damn." I did. I'm telling you, dude, she melted like fucking hot butter, just like that. I was like, that was way too easy.
So she was a woman of loose morals, is what you're
Oh,
saying.
dude, my favorite kind.
The loosest of morals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got that was the night we got pulled over. We had three empty three empty beer cases, and all the cans that went with it in the floorboard. Literally from it was up to my knees. There was uh, there's 2 ounces of this green leafy material in a big bag, not in the glove box, but on top of the glove box. And then in my brother's pocket was this golf ball size piece of what looked like frozen water. And the guy driving
I think they call that ice.
yep. And the guy driving was Meathead. And Meathead was so fucking drunk he couldn't walk. And we rolled up on a roadblock. Dude, when we got that, they literally had what appeared to be a 16-year-old girl handcuffed, sitting in the ditch. There's water running through this ditch. She's sitting in running water, handcuffed, fucking squalling. They've got her Honda Accord torn to 1,000 pieces, dude. And this girl did not look like the type. I don't even know if they found anything. They had the whole car tore apart looking. And I remember looking at my brother because me and Meathead were okay, other than he was way too drunk to be driving. But the guy in the passenger front was wanted by the state of Georgia. The guy in the passenger rear beside me, my brother, was wanted by the state of Georgia and the federal government, the Government Bureau of Investigations, and Alcohol, Tobacco, and Fire, everybody. Both of them have jumped bail. Yeah, so they're being heavily sought after. So anyway, when the cop starts walking the truck, I turned to my brother and I went, "What are you gonna do?" He said, "Didn't hear helicopters." "What the fuck are you talking about helicopters?" He said, "It's gonna sound like a helicopter." I said, "What's gonna sound like a helicopter?" He said, "My feet when I take off running these flip flops." So the cop gets up to the window and asks Scott for his driver's license, and he's so intoxicated that his hand won't stay still. The cop reaches for it 3 times before he catches it and takes it out of his hand and just looks at him all stern and walks off with it. Meanwhile, there's a cop on each side of the truck. And this truck is registered to the guy in the passenger front who's jumped bail out of Georgia. Actually, it's not called jumping bail. He just got out of prison and hasn't reported to his parole officer, whatever you call that, in like a year. So they're standing there with flashlights looking at the fact that you can't see our legs from the knees down because the entire floorboard up to the seat is empty beer cans. Like 5 minutes later, dude, the cop walks up and hands Scott his license. Like, "All right, you guys have a good morning." And we drove off. That's the story.
Rather anticlimactic.
Huh?
That was rather anticlimactic.
It was anticlimactic, but who gets away with that? How does that happen?
I don't know.
I only told you about the girl because that tells you how serious. They yanked this young girl out of her car and tore it all to pieces, suspecting she had something. But there was no suspicion for us. You could see it. You could see that the floorboards are full of empty beer cans. There's 4 rednecks coming back from the drag strip. But yeah, we got away with it.
What's up, Brother Joe?
Brother John, how you doing? Mearsalt, no, they had the string lights with LED heads. They were bright as hell. I remember the light reflecting off the aluminum, the ones that were face bottom up, reflecting off the can, hitting me in the face. I was literally the only one who wouldn't have went to jail because I didn't have anything on me. I was drunk, but I wasn't driving. So they probably would have popped me for PI as soon as I got out of the truck before they towed it. But everybody else, well, one was going to county jail. The other two were going to prison if they had even bothered to run their names. They did.
Yeah, nowhere. I mean, not as severe. I had a similar-ish situation. I had been drinking, and um, a lady friend of mine wanted me to go. Her brother was in town. Wanted me to go pick up her brother and his girlfriend, and they wanted to roll some taters. So I had to make sure I, picked up some reefer, and I went to go pick them up. And right before the turn in to their trailer park was a roadblock license check. Of course, it had to be a trailer park. And I had just picked up a half ounce of reefer and it was sitting on the dashboard. And I'd been drinking. When I saw that there was a roadblock, I was like, well, there's no way I can get around it. So I put like half a pack of Big Red Bubble or chewing gum in my mouth and started chewing that. Well, just that day, I had gotten my registration in the mail and forgot to put it in my truck. So I had to go through this whole rigmarole with the cop, and I'm sitting there like I'm sweating like crazy, dude. And I'm like, dude, I got the registration and I just forgot to put it in my truck. But I mean, I had my license, my insurance, all that shit. Everything was above board. But he was like, well, go ahead and go. Well, when I left, there was no way to turn right. I had to turn left back into the roadblock. And the reefer's still sitting on the damn dashboard because I didn't think to freaking take it down. I pulled up. The other cop that was like taking traffic from the other direction stopped me. And for some reason, the dude that stopped me first said, he was like, oh, I already got him, man. You can let him go. So, I mean, we didn't even have to deal with nothing, but I didn't have knee deep beer cans in my floorboard either. So,
yeah. Dude, this was like 5 o'clock in the morning, by the way. Nobody Nationals had been far over. Bubble Dance Girl had done been in and out of the back seat. That'd been taken care of. And we weren't actually coming from the drag strip. There was another chick there that the felon in the passenger front had been talking to, and she showed us all her boobs and invited us back to the clubhouse. We don't know nothing about that life. We didn't know what that meant. So we went. So it was said chick, her old man, and all his buddies. And we weren't there 3 minutes before we had knives pointed at our throats. And, it got pretty gnarly. I never swung, never touched anybody. My brother wrecked about 5 of them right there on the front porch of their own clubhouse. I mean, fucking wrecked them.
Damn.
Yeah. And we got in the truck and left.
Good night, Cue Ball. Appreciate you stopping in, brother. Have a good one. Kyle had a question.
Kyle, this is just one of my We the People holsters. Oh, I know what you're doing, you smart ass.
Yeah, he's being a smart ass. What he's doing.
Dude, he's good at that, dude. Very few people can be a smart ass and it get past me, but Kyle's good at it. Sometimes I have to stop and think, wait a minute, what's Kyle doing?
He's been awfully nice to me.
Yeah.
Paying me a lot of attention.
Anytime Kyle's nice or asks me a question, you better start thinking about it really hard because you got it coming. I can promise you. You've been to fuck you up.
What's up, Josh Branson? Oh, so we had a damn bomb threat at work last week.
Yeah, you told me about that. How'd that go?
It went great.
Nothing blew up.
No, nothing blew up.
Any bomb threat where there's not an explosion is a good bomb threat.
It is. But the funny thing, like
I had gather up all the pretzel ass pretzels.
The pretzel ass pretzels were all gathered up. I was with the main of the pretzel ass pretzels when it happened because we had just got there because I was clocking in late that day, because I was going to be working late, and we didn't realize it at the time, but the chick that works in the office was actually on the phone with the bomb threat dude when we got over there because she was covering the elevator for me. And the director's assistant came barging into the office. We're like, well, something's going on. We'll just take the other elevator. Next thing I know, I get a text about bomb threat, this and that. And then so we end up just evacuating for a couple hours. Went to the mall and had a nice lunch.
Who'd want to blow up a bunch of artists?
Some anti-art doing bastard.
Apparently. Apparently, somebody highly disapproves of folks doing art.
Which the funny thing, I know there's all these prepaid burner phone, this and that, but the dummy didn't even try it. We got caller ID. The number showed up on the caller ID. They didn't even try and block it. So it got us out of there for like 2
There's
hours.
an attorney in town right now that I remember.
Oh yeah,
the year he graduated high school. Keep in mind, he's a licensed attorney now, but he had to finish his senior year at a different school because he called it a bomb threat to the high school. It was a couple years after I graduated, but I was still in the loop enough to find out about it. His dad was an attorney. Got him out of trouble, but he had to switch schools. He went on to become a lawyer himself. Thought he was going to the NFL. He was a hell of a football player. Played for the University of Troy. You know who Troy is? Troy's a little small farm town college.
yeah.
That about once every 5 years will just whoop the shit out of somebody like LSU or Alabama or just out of the blue, dude. They just pull it off sometimes. That school's infamous for just these miracle games, you know, where a bunch of corn-fed, cornbread white boys actually win a ball game.
He says as he shows a big old fat dip in his lip.
That's right.
Them corn-fed, cornbread ass.
Redneck ass rednecks.
Redneck ass rednecks.
I heard Bud Light hit bomb threats. Hit bomb threats or had bomb threats?
Got
Bomb threats. I'm sure they did. I don't give a shit about none of that.
I don't either.
It's my whole thing, man. I asked one question and got attacked. My only question was, what was the marketing department, the whole purpose is to create an ad that creates business and makes money. All I wanted to know was, what did they project that was going to do? How much money did they think they were going to benefit? I didn't care, but I never understood the dollar side of it. And then I got really confused because like everybody was talking about, there was so much misinformation about like, you know, when I first heard about it, I heard they're changing all the cans.
No, I think it was on one can or something.
Every Bud Light you buy is going to have this dude, which apparently he thinks I should go to prison for calling him a dude. But this dude's face was going to be on it. But did that ever happen? Do those cans even exist? And I'm not being sarcastic, guys. I don't know. I've never seen one though.
No, from what I understand, it was literally like they did a ad and there was one can.
Yeah, they made one can for him, right?
Yeah, there was just one can.
It's just like the commemorative can with his face on it.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then, I mean, it was just a bunch of blowed up bullshit.
Yeah, I know we don't like to get political in here, but I said it before and I say it again, dude. I'm 52 years old. I'm too old to give a shit what people decide to do and who they decide to do it with in the bedroom. I just don't give a damn. You know, I get the whole pushing it on kids, all that, whatever. Let's move on anyway. Yeah, I didn't drink the beer anyway, so it didn't bother me. You know, if I found out Blue Moon was promoting the artist or whatever, I'd be pretty pissed off.
I mean,
I like my Blue Moon.
You like Blue Moon?
Yeah, dude, I was drinking Blue Moon you know, Blue Moon originated at Coors Field.
I mean, I don't care where it originated. I just don't like the taste of it.
Yeah, and it sold really well. Well, this is the thing. I didn't like the taste of it first either. I've been from Alabama. You know, I was a big PBR or Natural Light, whatever. But when I got to about 35 years old, this is after 15 years of drinking beer every day. Got to a point where I could drink like two. If I finished that second one and still felt good, I could drink all night. But over half the time, about halfway through the second can of beer, I'd get indigestion so bad I couldn't breathe. Like it was painful indigestion. And somebody said, "Hey, have you tried a wit beer?" I had no clue what they were talking about. They were like, it's made of wheat. And I was like, so it's a wheat beer? No, it's a Belgian wit, WHIT. So I was like, no, I hadn't tried that. And they're like, well, we got it on tap right here. It's Blue Moon stuff. So sure enough, I could drink 30 of them in a night and be hammered drunk, but I never got indigestion off of it. So that was my beer for a long time.
Well, the only reason I don't like Blue Moon is because it's just a shitty copy of Hogarden.
I'm
If you
sure.
drink Hogarden, you'll never drink Blue Moon again.
Well, you say that. You remember, I'm read that. I'm not big on the intricacies
I'm
of
I'm
what
telling
makes
you,
most
it
people
don't.
like beers.
That beer I let you try when you came over here that time and you
Yeah.
liked it, you like the Hogarden even more because you'll be
Dude,
like,
you know how
damn,
hard it was for me to try that damn that what was that? We tried that Kentucky bourbon
the
barrel
peppermint porter.
porter. Yeah, did
Yeah.
I hear the word porter? I was like, that sounds nasty. But porters are actually pretty easy to drink. They're a little heavy, a little thick, but I just don't like that real bitter bite right at the end of an IPA or whatever. So that's why I like the Blue Moon. It didn't have that harsh bite.
What's up, Ed?
Beach beer. Yeah.
Yeah, I like anything that pretty much anything Lagunitas makes. My favorite of theirs is one called Little Something Something.
I like a little something, something. I
You'd
ain't
like
tried the
this.
beer, but I like a little something, something. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, Hogarden's a little heavier slash thicker, but it's got more of a natural
hey, wait a minute.
like orange and coriander type
Dumpy,
flavor.
you're recovering, correct? You're recovering something, right? I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't do it. It ain't none of my business. But I want to say this: if you're recovering and you're clean and you're proud of it, do not fall victim to any shenanigans or influences while you're in the state of Georgia. You keep on the good path, buddy.
Where's Dopey coming from?
Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I smoke weed. They don't even need any context or anything. You can just type that whenever you feel like it, man. But I don't. I hadn't smoked weed in years. I partake in some edibles on Friday nights for said faction every now and then. I'm sure you've all been there to witness that and make fun of me.
Yeah, we witnessed you actually last Tuesday eating one late
Yeah.
as the live stream
I
was
was so
ending.
mad at y'all, dude. I was just getting all wound up, getting into it good. Well, I guess that's it. And I was like, oh shit, where'd I go now? You can't leave me here like this.
Just enjoy the ride, homie.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it was like, put it in reverse, Shane. Put it in reverse.
And what was your response?
Like,
How do I put it in reverse?
how? How do you stop this? Dude, I keep making the pieces smaller and smaller. And I'm telling you, dude, it don't matter. Would it be against the law if I showed candy on YouTube?
No. That's legal in all states as far as I know.
Candy?
Yeah. I mean, even babies get it. There's even a saying like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah. I want to show you. You see the amount of candy sticking out of this wrapper?
Mm-hmm.
You see how tiny that is?
That's
Look,
just a
there's my
little
fingernail.
teeny bit of candy.
That teeny bit of candy right there will absolutely make you stupid, dude. Stupid to the point that your legs don't work, you can't walk. I guess I can say who this were compliments of because the gentleman that gave it to me was given this by somebody in the community, and he said who it was. So my brain cells thank you, Gons. Good shit. Or what's left of them. Yeah, just
What's
that
up,
little bit of candy,
ATK?
dude. There's so much sugar in that, dude. It will rock your world. Oh, the first time, dude, I broke off a piece like this long. Like a whole section of it about an inch long. And as soon as I text Stevie, he was like, "Shane, you've made a huge mistake, man." Okay.
Dopey,
And for
I know
Stevie
that
to tell you that,
I know there's hundreds of milligrams in those things. I don't know exactly the
the
count.
ones from John's like 2,500
Yeah.
and a stick,
Yeah. It's
about
it's
4, maybe 5 inches long.
it's lots of milligrams.
Mm. And this comes from a guy who who doesn't ingest any milligrams, who hadn't done any of that in years until I got a hold of. Yeah, I actually got it to try it for my pain. Let me tell you something, man. All you guys that say this medicinal candy works for pain, y'all full of shit, dude. The pain's still there. You're just high in pain. It didn't work for me at all.
Oh, you're defective.
Yeah, but I did find something that's very effective, very safe. I don't know if that's safe to talk about it on YouTube.
I mean, I think it is. Hell, Joe Rogan does it live on YouTube.
What talks about kratom?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan takes kratom.
Yeah. Before he works out.
Yeah. I tell you what I really love about it is the fact that I don't feel anything. I don't feel even the slightest bit euphoric, not even a little bit, nothing. All it does is completely eliminates my pain. And for those of you who know me, I've been struggling with this for 10 years. It has literally ruined my life, this pain that I deal with. And this stuff is more effective. I've got a bottle of Percocet 10s over there that my prescription was due to be refilled yesterday, and there's over 60 left in the bottle.
And that's unheard of.
That's how well this stuff works. And dude, I actually started decreasing the amount just purely for dollar and cents wise. I mean, it's not expensive to begin with, but to see how little would work. But I'm down to a half a teaspoon. I take a half a teaspoon twice a day. And it comes in a 2-pound bag. So how long is that going to last?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, well, you were there. You remember I was scared to drive home. I was hurting so bad. I was scared to drive home. And 10 minutes. Wasn't that about how long it took? 10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10, 15 minutes it starts
headed
kicking
down
in.
431. Not a care in the world. No pain at all whatsoever. I've told everybody about it, man. It is an absolute miracle if you have chronic pain. Now, most of the people I see talking about it on YouTube are taking it. They took it just purely just to get off opiates, you know.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you from having withdrawals or whatever. But I ain't gonna lie, dude. I was skeptical when I ain't gonna mention who offered it because I mean most people here can figure it out, but I don't have his permission. But when he offered, I was like, man, I don't know. I was like a 16-year-old kid. First time somebody put a joint in front of your face, I was like, man, I don't know. Kind of scared, but dude, I have zero issues with it now. I take kratom daily. Lord, is it as effective for your pain as it is mine? Because I'm telling you, man, my brother that we were talking about earlier is a large gentleman. When he got all that money, he invested a bunch of it into steroids and testosterone. And he really, really bulked up. And but because of that, what people don't think about is, you know, the biometrics of your body. Your muscles are attached to your tendons, and they pull on those tendons to make things work. Well, when you make your muscles way stronger than they should be, it tears at those tendons. And now that, you know, 20 years later that he's not on all that, he literally can't hardly sleep at night because his joints hurt so bad. And the first time I recommended it to him, he tried it. He called me that evening. He's like, saying this is life changing. He's like, I have not experienced any pain all day today because I haven't done this in 20 years. So, Shane and Doom will be having a snuggle fest on Friday nights. Did I miss something? Where do we meet up on Friday nights?
I don't know, but y'all gonna be snuggling.
I'm down for a snuggle. I don't care.
Especially with Doom, he's a snuggly fella.
Yeah. I know one person I like to snuggle with. I love snuggling with her. Y'all ever experienced one of those chicks that their ass puts off the heat of the sun? That
Where
dude,
in the hell did this
this
come
person
from?
that nothing I love more than snuggling up and holding tight. But I'm telling you, dude, her ass puts off like this 400-degree heat wave. So when I do, I have to I can get my chest against her back, but I have to back my hips up. I can't get anywhere close to that thing when she sleeps because it's so fucking hot. Like I'll lay there and pour sweat, and it's 68 degrees in the room. I don't understand it. I don't know how she don't freeze to death. She's got to be losing all her body heat out of her ass.
I think that was a South Park episode.
Was it?
I don't know. It sounds
Oh,
like it should be somebody
she is.
losing all their body heat.
She's a whole season of South Park. Mean ass.
I know who we're talking about.
Did he? Well,
Yeah.
I said mean ass. You did.
Yeah, I did. 100%.
It interacts with your brain and your pleasure receptors in the same exact manner. It helps your brain release endorphins. Yeah. Yeah, it actually attaches to your opiate receptors. Of course, is there even such a thing? I mean, we named it that, but that's not what its original, use was.
ATK figured it out. He says she's just farting on you.
No, no, there's no. I'm telling you, because if she is, then it's constant. Like it never stops all night.
Well, yeah.
I guess that just goes along with being smoking hot, huh?
I guess so. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, comes in a powder. Yeah, that powder is the least enjoyable way to take it, but it is the way I take it because I can get it very, very cheap.
And
Especially considering a bag will last me 2 pounds is probably looking like it's going to last me probably 6 months.
Hell yeah.
At least 5 months.
It does. It does taste like royal ass,
Worst
though.
thing you've ever tasted.
It's like you just eat a bag or a mouthful of grass clippings and
No, it's worse than that.
dusty grass clippings.
It's so nasty, and it's the consistency of cinnamon. So if you inhale, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, you're done.
You're probably gonna die.
You damn sure don't want to try and take it dry. You got to drink something.
And then you get to coughing, and it gets in your nasal cavities, and it's just it's horrible.
It burns a little bit.
I got it out now, dude. I literally stand there with a glass of milk and my little half teaspoon scoop measuring, just a little measuring spoon, dump it on my tongue, and immediately follow it with milk, and milk annihilates the taste, the smell, everything. It's gone instantly.
You do strawberry milk?
No, just standard 2%.
Just regular old milk.
Yeah, don't do it with water. Water's a horrible idea because the water don't dilute it. It just pushes that big dry clump of powder to the back of your throat, and then it sticks. It's horrible. Yeah, you use something flavored, something that'll get rid of it.
I take mine with water every day. It's not pleasant.
I can do it with water. I mean, wrong.
I don't look forward to it.
I always drink a 20-ounce glass of water after it because that is one of the side effects that says it can cause dehydration. So you have to make sure you stay hydrated. I've heard that and then some guy on YouTube was saying that causes it to lose some of its effectiveness. But I can't imagine how horrible that tea would taste. I guess you could add stuff to it. Honey.
Flavored up.
Yeah.
Make it with some of that sleepy time tea or something.
It's just a whole lot easier for me to just. What I do is when I put it in, I flip it upside down, and I tap the spoon to the roof of my mouth so it all falls out.
Kind of roll your tongue around it and move your head back and forth a little bit.
I cut my tongue so that it'll stay right in the middle. You don't want it going off the sides.
So you cut
my tongue so it drops right in that valley.
Right.
Right behind it is.
Tickle the balls too?
Huh?
You tickle the balls too while you're cupping your tongue and wrapping it around?
If it asked me to, I would.
Okay.
Who this?
What's up, Jeremy Lawler? What's happening, brother?
I got some stuff going on, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good, man?
It ain't nothing big. Y'all all hear about it very soon.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Cool.
Tea breaks are really good for a reset. John, don't nobody know what the fuck you talking about. A reset, mellow, all that bullshit you say. It just really good at doing away with pain.
This, Kyle Coonley wants to know if you look like a tea drinker. I mean, Shane will throw his pinky out in the right circumstance.
Yes, you can buy empty capsules and do it that way. You can also buy these little rice paper packets to put it in, and then just swallow the. But once you learn the process, there's no need for all that. It literally takes 2 seconds. I did find out that my dog likes it.
He likes to cradle?
When I take the spoon out of the bag, a little bit will fall off the edges and hit the floor. She immediately runs over and licks it up. It's not much, and then I looked it up, and a lot of people give their dogs cradle.
What's it do for pain levels?
I don't know. I can't communicate with her. I wish I could, but she does have hip dysplasia. So if it gets to a point where she looks like, it's hurting her, I'll mix it in with some damn wet dog food if I need to.
I'll tell you what's good for that hip dysplasia is glucosamine chondroitin.
Yeah, I've heard that. I give her fish oil when I can get her to take it. She's so picky. You guys remember that night she come in here and jumped up in my lap?
Yeah.
She's the best dog, man.
Where's she at now?
She's in bed with her mama.
Sleeping.
Yeah. She's curled up to mama. Where she sleeps every night, except when her mom ain't at home. Then she sleeps with me, but she lays on the very foot of the bed, facing the door.
Oh, so you're like the second choice. What's up, Carco?
Well, her mama's her favorite by far. There's no doubt about that. But I'm, on the other hand, I'm her alpha. Like, if her mama opens the door to go to her truck, she'll just take off running around being all crazy. If I open the door, like if we're gonna let her go somewhere with us, all I gotta do is tell her, in the truck, and she'll run up and sit there and wait for me to open the door. So she respects me more, but she loves her more. If that makes any sense.
You're bad cop. So that she's good cop. You're bad cop.
I'm alpha, and Mama's her equal.
No, you're bad cop, and Mama's good cop.
Whatever.
She like if she was your kid, she wanted to go do something, she'd go ask Mama, not you.
Right.
Yeah.
But she also knows that I'm where the food comes from. Because I have to cook her food. No dog food. She won't eat it. Well, I keep dog food, but the only way she'll eat it is like if I cook something. If I'm cooking a protein, I always pour off all the fat into a cup, let it cool off. I can pour it over dog food, and she'll eat that. But otherwise, she won't touch it. But she usually eats chicken or ground beef or pork or something like that every day. She's very, very healthy.
No hot dog weenies?
Yeah. Feed my dog that shit. I'll eat it, but I ain't feeding her.
What about a Korean corn dog?
Dude, that was nasty, man. There you go, Steve. He said put the kratom in the fish oil. I want to start her on it now because I know she's got it. She'll lay flat on her belly with her fat legs straight out, and you can see it. You can see one hip is shifted. When she lays for a while and gets up, it's a little stiff, but she can still run. She can jump a 4-foot fence like it's nothing. So until it starts to slow her down, I ain't gonna give her anything.
What breed is she?
They say she's a pocket pet.
Okay.
She's one of those. She is a little bit short for her width. She's very, very wide, very, very muscular. But she's not super tall. Not super short either, but she's about the same height as a normal pit bull, but she's twice the width.
Right.
Muscle.
She one of them big old
animal. John's cat would whip her ass. There's no doubt.
She won the big old gator mouth pits.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Looked like they were smiling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Carco got a baby pig today.
That's awesome.
What'd you name it?
I wouldn't mind a baby pig if they were
State.
soft, pet them.
Yeah.
I like how the hair's all prickly.
Yeah, it's bristly as hell.
Yeah.
And them baby pigs, they turn into not baby pigs, and them not baby pigs get big as hell.
Yeah. Pigs are pigs.
Because there's no damn such thing as a teacup pig or miniature pig. If it's a pig, it's a pig.
Yep. The only thing that decides how big a pig gets is how much you feed it.
Yep.
If you feed it enough, it'll turn into a damn pig. Yep. I wish I didn't have that fear of flying so much, dude. I watch those videos of those guys hog hunting out of helicopters. God, I want to do that so bad, but I don't want to be in a helicopter.
No. I mean, helicopters are fun, but...
Yeah, I ain't got the nerve for it anymore, man. So I've gotten old. I've gotten scared of a lot of things I didn't used to be.
Lollipog. That's the name of the pig. That's a cool name.
Still gonna be a pig.
I think the best name for a pig is Hamilton, and call it Ham for short.
Yeah. Because if you don't feed the pig enough, it'll eat you.
Yeah, that was in one of the Hannibal Lecter movies. They fed victims to pigs, didn't they? Daughter wanted to name it Lolly, and I said I was going to just call it Pog. So
it was in Snatch. The guy in Snatch used to feed people to pigs, remember?
Yeah.
It's such a good movie, man. If you're an adult male in this room right now and you haven't watched the movie Snatch, shame on you.
Oh, I watched your damn Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was rough.
It was bad as I said it. Was it not the worst
rough
movie you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Like, did it not?
It's a bad movie when the best actor in the movie is Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I mean, he was he was the best talent.
And he was still horrible.
Yeah.
It literally, the production level and the acting.
Although
at any moment I expect them all to strip down their clothes and start having sex on screen.
It did have that Harlan dude from Half Baked, the one with that went to jail and the pop. He fed the freaking Buttercup the food and it died. But it had him in it. And he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. Well, I had the guy from Happy Gilmore too, Shooter McGavin.
Yep. Shooter
McGavin was Boss Hog. Probably the low point of his career.
And it had the cat that played Shaggy in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
Huh? I thought that was the guy from SLC Punk. Or are we talking about a different live-action Scooby-Doo?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was it was like a spoof of it or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that guy's name?
Harlan Williams. Patina. What's up, Cletus?
SLC Punk and...
Oh, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
He was in 13 Ghosts, too. That was a hellacious, stupid movie.
He was a guy on Screen.
Yeah.
Good old Patina Turner.
What's up, Cletus?
I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. When I walked in that hotel room, I turned the TV on. And I watched the last half hour of some documentary about freestyle motocross. They covered the whole Crusty Demons of Dirt, all that stuff. And they mentioned Phil Lawrence. And Patina and I were talking about a week ago. And I was trying to tell him about some Suzuki rider, but he was an independent and he had 4 aces on his gas tank. And that was Phil. I knew his name was Phil, but I wasn't positive about it being Phil Lawrence. Now I'm thinking I made it home safe, man. I feel like I've been beat from head to toe with a baseball bat, though.
Speaking of racing and videos and YouTube, and so you have got me going down this rabbit hole ever since you talked about the little the channel where the dude and his son like race Hot Wheels on a little downhill track. So I found this channel.
How dumb do you feel when you watch it?
What? No, it ain't even that one. It's even worse.
Oh, really?
because they've got, I didn't send you the link, but I told you the channel name. It's called, the channel's 3D Bot Maker, and they have these whole series where they race Hot Wheels. Like, people send in the car, dude. It's, the production quality is out of this world. They add sound effects to it. They commentate the entire race. I mean, it's amazing, dude. And it's literally just Hot Wheels cars. They have little miniature fake crowds, like people standing around. The cars have driver names. I mean, it's a whole legit thing, dude.
This channel, they've been doing it for years, and their videos literally get millions of views.
What's the name of the channel you're watching with the
I'm
dad?
trying to look it up now. I can't remember. I'm too ashamed. I'm way too ashamed to subscribe to it, but I watch it all the time.
I'm gonna,
because it's there it is. You ready for this name?
Yeah.
Ghost.
Oh yeah. And his sons, it's more than one son, isn't it?
Yeah, and they look Polynesian.
Yeah. So that's the first one I watched. Then, and we're gonna watch this shit.
Yeah, here's the first one that pops up. It says Hot Wheels 6-lane test track. Decide your ride. 5.5 million views. This is literally just grown men letting Hot Wheels go down tracks to see which one wins. Really, all it boils down to is which one rubs the side of the track the most.
Yeah.
The
one I watched was a dirt track.
Oh, they've done dirt tracks.
Theirs.
They'll set tracks up going underwater so the cars hit the water and it slows them down and they have to regain momentum while underwater. They do all kind of silly shit on there.
All right.
People watch the hell out of it.
So we about to watch some shit here, because this dude, you gotta.
Well, there, Mike Jernak says he's watched it.
All right, here's screen.
Pretend nobody watches Supercross anymore. When Jeremy McGrath retired, Supercross died. Just accept it. Lagging, or are you messing with it?
There it goes.
Our first driver of the night is Fractal Panda, driving in the Nissan 300ZX.
Fractal Panda is driving for Fractal Panda Diecast Racing and comes to us all the way from Edinburgh, Scotland.
It's nice to see some more international drivers.
While our next driver is a little closer to home for us, it's Anarchy from Walnut Creek, California.
All right, is it playing sound?
It was.
Okay.
It's not now, but it's kind of laggy.
Have Pam Poovey.
Oh, Pam Poovey.
That's right, Pam Poovey from Poovey Farm Racing.
Oh, Pam Poovey's from.
Hold on.
Poovey
well, that's
Farm
me.
Racing.
Like,
I was thinking of a different Pam Poovey.
Oh, you're thinking of Pam Poovey from Pomona.
That's right. Yeah, Pam Poovey from Pomona drives a Porsche Panamera.
All right, here we go.
Oh, these are slots.
Ahead of the rest of the pack.
No,
Dash,
it's not a
catch 'em,
slot.
trying
It's
to
just
catch
on
up.
Come on, Ash,
little
you gotta
track.
catch them all.
Fractal Panda with some drifting there. Pam Poovey trying to close the gap.
Where'd the other two cars go?
I'm not sure right now. We're only seeing Fractal Panda, who takes the win with a track time of 15.5055 seconds. He's followed by
They
Pam
do like
Poovey, who
whole
will take second
series and
place.
crap, dude.
Oh, we got a double DNF.
You know, this McDonald's has
Ghost
become a
Burger,
new
they have, like,
hot spot for the
one
racers,
video
it seems
where
like.
They just can't resist. You smell it, and you just have to pull over.
Well, it looks like Anarchy flipped over.
Well, if you're going to wreck, you might as well wreck somewhere that has a restroom nearby and where you can get some hot food while you're at it.
A pro tip on wrecking your car by 2D.
Yeah, I'm not saying people should wreck their car, but if you feel that car starting to tip over, aim it towards the McDonald's.
Yeah, and they got little
I just
dudes
Googled
commentating and talking
black
shit.
gray Nissan 300ZX.
Oh, you see that pass?
Dude, I
Fractal
got on
Panda
here. I
overtaking
was
Anarchy like a
damn
boss.
cheering for cars and shit. I hope they win.
Yeah, the more you watch, the bigger nerd you become.
Yeah.
It all into it. This is crazy. Nobody on here is talking about it. Yeah, diecast racing, just Hot Wheels.
Yes, yep.
Hey, the Ghost Jerker, they even do the pullbacks. They have pullback drag racing. You remember when you pull back to the click?
Yeah.
Take off. Yeah, they do pullback drag races. And these guys are probably making $500,000 a year on YouTube. And here we are talking about knives and cocaine and
Methamphetamines. We talked about that too.
pretzels.
Pretzels.
all that
Damn,
crazy shit. And they're making
little
money.
pretzel ass bitches.
Yeah.
But yeah, these.
I guarantee you Hot Wheels is probably sponsoring them and sending them all them cars for free.
Well, they got different
grown
companies. There's like a whole league, dude. They've got companies that send in cars, and they just put up the little spot. It's sponsored by such and such, and I mean they're full custom. Like they can adjust the weight on them, and it's fucking
I got
nuts.
disqualified when we were in shop in middle school. We did these. They weren't the slot cars. Our shop teacher had built this track, and it was a bank line, probably 50 feet of bank line. There's two of them that were stretched very tight between the start box and the finish line. And the start box had this spring-loaded bar in it that had two very pointy things that would, when he'd trip it, they would spring forward. And everybody in shop class, they gave it a piece of wood, this block of wood. And you could shape it any way you wanted to, but you had to drill a hole in the back of it for a CO2 cylinder to go in. Past that, you could shape it however you wanted. And you drilled holes in the front and back for the axles to go in. He gave you the wheels and the axles and the piece of wood. Go make it, paint it, decorate it the way you want.
You talking about Pine Box Derby?
Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the thing was, though, a lot of guys wanted to make them super light, and that does make it fast. The problem is if it hits at the other end and snaps, if it breaks, you can't continue, so you don't win.
Or Pine Car Derby. So you just carve it out of a block of wood. Yeah.
Right.
You used to do it in Boy Scouts.
And I won, and then he disqualified me for cheating. Because when I drilled the axles, first of all, I slid a coffee stirrer through it, which is very snug. So I slid a coffee stirrer through it so that wooden axle wasn't riding on the frictious kind of rough wood where it had been drilled. It's riding on slick plastic. And then I drilled the front axle offset up and down. So the car sat in three-wheel motion. One of the front tires didn't touch the ground. And just that difference in friction from that one tire being lifted and the reduction in friction, because I also sprayed graphite in it, with the coffee stirrers, dude, I smoked everything. I flat blew everybody off the track. And mine wasn't the lightest. Matter of fact, it wasn't aerodynamic because I had a model car kit that some parts were missing. So I took the blower and the stuff from the model car and glued it onto mine so it would look like a real dragster.
Of course, you had to supercharge yours, didn't it? That's where the cheating came in.
Yeah, the wine blower flew off. It snapped off in the first race, but the car survived and won.
It was because it was going so fast?
Yeah, and he had the list of rules, how far apart the axles had to be. And when he gave you the piece of wood, the one thing you couldn't touch was the very ends because it had to be an exact length. The axles had to be an exact distance apart. The CO2 cartridge all it was really about was teaching you how to measure and, make simple shit. But there was no rule about the angle of the hole that you drilled, dude. I literally, maybe it was 2 degrees, but that was just enough to lift that right front tire so that all that was touching the ground was 3 tires. And even in the downhill cars, it works that way. If you cant the axle just a little bit.
Scott said no 3-wheel bias Pinewood Derby cars.
Yeah. Apparently that's a rule now, but it wasn't a rule when we started it, and I won it, and then he disqualified me.
You're the reason for that rule, dude.
I was just smarter than everybody else. I mean, we all had the equal block of wood. Matter of fact, he gave me one with a knot in it, and I handed it back to him. For one, I didn't want to deal with the knot, and I knew that knot contained more resin, which would make it way more, so I didn't want that. But, yeah.
No lube either. Look at there.
I didn't use lube.
Brother Snake. What's up, King Snake Jake? You said you use graphite?
Yeah, he didn't catch me with the graphite, though. I don't consider graphite a lube. It's not a petroleum product.
What does it
Are there official rules to this? Is that what we're hearing here?
Does it reduce friction, that graphite?
I really don't know if it did or it didn't.
Thank God they didn't have KPL back then.
Yeah. Or Slick 'em all. Nah, Slick 'em all wouldn't work. It's too sticky.
Gunny, whatever. Grease, oil.
Yeah. Too many engineers kids went in the dirt. I wasn't an engineer kid. My dad was hung acoustical tile ceilings and molested children. That's all he was famous for.
Well, I mean, that gave you a little leg up, didn't it?
I guess. It made me want to win really bad.
It damn sure did.
It's something positive in my life. So bad.
You was fighting a losing battle, dude.
It was snatched away from me.
Hell yeah.
Oh, me. Yeah. The blower, by the way, for you guys that put together model cars, was off of the ZZ Top Eliminator. You remember the ZZ Top Eliminator?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Ford Coupe in the Sharp Dress Man video.
Yeah.
I bought the model car, and it was sealed in plastic and everything, but there was a whole grid of pieces missing. They just forgot to package it, so it sat there forever. But I did put the ZZ Top graphics down the side of my car.
See,
I
they
thought
should.
Time Box Derby was where it was just gravity.
Well, yours wasn't?
No, that's what I'm telling you. It had a CO2 cartridge in the back, and that spring-loaded thing would come up. When he set them in the starting line, it would come up, and it would puncture the CO2 cartridge, and they would take off.
Oh, that's some fancy Pinewood Derby.
Yeah. He even paddled. He did this every year. He would paddle you for calling it a car. It was not a car.
He would spank you?
He would paddle you, yeah. This guy was a savage.
Apparently so.
The most feared man in middle school for getting.
What were you supposed to call it?
It was a vehicle.
Oh my Lord!
So he had some reasoning behind it, like a definition for a car, and that was not one. So
well, I mean, does that really warrant spanking
you have to
a kid?
understand this. He was an old school teacher, and he was very big on what do you call it? He was very big on the specifics.
No, Cletus, he had to call him Poppy.
Yeah. Now, we just called him Coach because he was also a football coach. Coach Leslie Browning was his name. So that tells you why he was a muscled up, tough motherfucker, because he went through school in the 50s as a boy with the first name Leslie. Show
us on the doll, Shane.
First time I got paddled by him.
So he spanked you multiple times?
Oh, that's weekly. This guy beat me weekly, dude, because I was an asshole, so I deserved it. But we were painting stuff in shop class. I got done with my camera to refocus. Maybe I'm not doing it right.
You're doing something right. We can see the hell out the palm of your hand.
There it comes. Yeah, you got back.
Hey, you had to do it slow.
So we made something for Mother's Day. Well, I had to paint it and everything. I got done painting. I walked over to the sink. I'm standing there, hold my little paintbrush under the sink, watching the paint run out of the bristles. You know, by that time I can sense him. You know what I mean? I just know he's behind me. I didn't even turn around. I just kept doing what I was doing, and he goes, Gables. He called everybody by their last name. He was military. He was a Marine. I was like, yes, sir. Gables, what are you doing, son? I said, I'm wrenching out my paintbrush, Coach. He said, Gables, you see that sign over the sink? Yes, sir. So why don't you read that to me? It says no rinsing paintbrushes in the sink. He said, just go and grab that sink, son. I just reached down, grabbed both sides of it. Dude, he'd lift your feet off the ground, dude. I'm talking about when you'd hurt the next day. God, he had such, him being a shop teacher, he was the only one in the whole school that figured out if you drill holes in the paddle, it reduces the drag so you can get a faster swing. Yeah, it was bad.
He put it on you, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first time he probably. The next time I was sitting there in my shop chair, all kicked back with my buddies, shooting the shit. Same thing. Gables. Like, yes, sir. He's like, you know how to use a measuring tape? He's like, yes, sir. He's like, why don't you measure how far the front leg of that chair is off the floor for me? I reached down, read it. 4 inches, coach. What's that sign say, Gables?
Oh God, there was another sign.
There's signs everywhere, dude. I said, it says no leaning back in your chair, coach. He said, 4 inches? 4 licks, son. Come on up here. Dude, I still go by his house to this day. I love that man, and he loves me. But he was just that old school. They made him retire because of it. When they told him that he couldn't paddle kids anymore, he's like, "Well, I'm going to paddle."
He said, "The hell with this shit."
He said, "I'm going to paddle." So he was 2 years away from being able to retire, and they just gave it to him.
Does he still spank you now when you go see him?
Mm-hmm. He has hurt me severely since then, though.
Make you read signs?
I joined a men's softball league, and we had a pretty good team. And one night, the team we were supposed to play didn't show up. Well, Coach Leslie Browning played for a 55 and older team. All these guys are in their 60s. And they stepped up and said, y'all ain't got nobody to play? I was like, no. We'll play y'all. And I was thinking, hell yeah. Dude, them's the base hitting the sons of bitches I've ever seen in my life. They just, come to find out, they traveled all over the country in this senior softball league. Dude, they destroyed us. Because, at the time I was probably 240, in a lot better shape than I am now. But I was still the slowest guy on the team, so I was in right field. Dude, Leslie Browning comes up to bat. He's left-handed, and he drills this line drive, dude, that just barely clears the shortstop, the top of his glove. And I'm watching it. And this thing, it's just not, it's not dropping. It's just a fucking rocket headed to the outfield. Well, I realize it's going to drop a little ahead of me. So I take off running, and I turn my glove down to catch it. And it hits me right here. And I'm really glad that I was so close to the fence and so far from the infield so that all my buddies couldn't see me cry. Because it instantly brought tears to my eyes, dude. Just down on my knees. And they're all screaming, throw the ball! I think he made it to third by the time I got that. Oh, my God. I thought it may have broke something. That's too stupid to go to the hospital. But one of the most painful experiences I've ever had. Coach Leslie Browning spent 15 minutes beginning of every class reading from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. Not only was he big on reading the Bible, but if you read anything other than the King James Version, you're going to burn in hell. So we got 15 minutes of the King James Version of the Holy Bible every day. Dude, and it's a shop class. We spent a week learning the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's how old school this dude was. And he still lives about 10 minutes from me. Just healthy as he can be. He's got a little garden out there. He raises a calf every year, makes all of his own food. Hell of a man. This country it'll be a lesser place when he's gone.
Patina, softball.
Softball.
That shit hurts too. I got hit with a line drive right in the little dangly thing at the base of your breastbone. Dude, that shit swelled up. And it didn't even knock the wind out of me. It just I locked up.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there, I was playing short, and the dude that came up to bat normally didn't hit. He'd pop fly out. So I was sitting there with my hands on my knees, and by the time I could get my glove up, I got it. I was maybe 2 inches low, and it went right over the glove, right square right in the center of my damn bread basket.
What you're saying.
Huh?
So you kind of sucked at baseball is what you're saying.
No, I was good.
Yeah, whatever.
I just wasn't paying attention.
I misjudged one by one step. You're talking about letting the ball hit you in the chest, dude.
No, it didn't hit me in the chest. It hit me in the bread basket.
Whatever.
You go to hell.
The reason why we thought my whole team was big guys. Dude, we were home. They changed the league rules the next year to you could hit 3 home runs a game. Every home run after that was an out. Dude, we were just ball crushers, dude. And, all these 60-something-year-old men. I'm telling you, those guys, I've never seen anybody that could put a ball, that base hits you to death, man. Everything was right over the infield's head and would drop short of an outfielder.
Because they were experienced.
We didn't finish the game, dude. They beat us by the I think it was 11-point rule. If you went up by 11, game was over. I think they did in the third inning.
Dude, so this is pretty applicable right now. One Moon said, "Get hit in the nuts or cage with a puck sucks." There's a lady at work. Her husband got hit with a puck in a game like a week and a half ago. Stopped his heart. They're taking him off, or they took him off life support today. Yeah.
That's serious shit.
It stopped his heart to the point they gave him CPR for so long they had to lower his body temperature. And they said, I heard today, every time they tried to warm him back up, his brain was so far gone he would seize, and they had to take him off life support today.
I've never seen a hockey puck. I've never touched a real hockey stick. I've never been to a hockey rink. It's not a big thing around here. It's a big thing in Nashville. I didn't know that. I went to Nashville. Literally, it's like 1 out of every 5 dudes you run into in Nashville have got on a T-shirt that says "I'm a fucking predator." I didn't know what it meant. I was like, man, where they get these cool ass shirts?
Shane,
Nashville Predators.
Shane, you don't want to be a predator, dude. That's a bad thing.
They were all wearing shirts that says "I'm a fucking predator." Apparently, that's Nashville's hockey team, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're diehard fans up there. Yeah, one of the best home runs I've ever seen. Y'all remember me telling you about the guy that pulled the knife on me, threatened to kill me?
Did you put him in your trunk?
No.
Oh.
He is my ex-brother-in-law. We were brother-in-laws for 10 years. No, longer than that. 15 years. I mean, we hunted together. We did all kinds of stuff together. Been friends forever. But this story's not about him pulling the knife on me and threatening to kill me. He played on my team. And when I tell you he could knock the stitches out of a softball, dude, this dude could crush a softball. Just freakishly strong. And quick in his hips for a big guy. But we were playing on Field 4 one night. Field 4 faces the major 4 lane that passes through town. So you got, regulation size baseball field, and then a parking lot. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows deep. Then there's a curb, maybe 6 feet of grass, another curb. Then there's a tennis complex. And I was standing in the dugout one night waiting to bat, and Matt was batting ahead of me, and he hit one. And dude, it was like we stood there forever watching this ball travel. It went over the fence, over that park. And I'm telling you, this parking lot, it's at least 40 yards across. So it goes out of the field, across the parking lot, across that median, into the next parking lot at the tennis complex. And at the same time, they were having a high school tennis tournament. And an entire girls' high school tennis team had just loaded the bus. The bus driver was in the seat, but he had the door open. That softball went in that bus, and then we could hear it, bing, 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 bouncing around the side of the bus, and those girls screaming at the top of their lungs. We went out there and checked on it. It didn't hit none of them. It just bounced around inside the bus. I'd never seen anything like it, dude. I don't know how far it was. I'm telling you. I don't want to guess because people will think I'm lying, but I've never seen a ball hit that far.
I think you're probably lying.
No, it happened. You ever come to Gadsden, I'll drive you by the complex and show you where it happened, and you're going to go, you're full of shit. Didn't nobody hit a softball this far? Yeah.
Well, there was a dude that I played with named Lee Johnson. He played first base, and you hated to get a softball thrown to you. That sumbitch would throw the ball so hard and accurate as hell.
Yeah.
It between first base and second base, it would break twice. Like he would throw it. You're looking at it, watch it go this way and this way. As long as you got your glove right here, it's going to hit there. But I mean, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
to see that sumbitch coming at you.
We had another team that we were buddies with. I don't even remember the name of the team, dude. They were the biggest bunch of fucking thugs. These are all like just heavily tatted up white dudes, fucking face tats. And they're drinking beers, smoking weed in the parking lot, but they were good. They were really good at softball. And I'll never forget that we were playing a tournament one night, and they beat us by 1 run. But we hung around to watch the final game because the final game was between them and 5-0. 5-0 was a collection of local city cops, county sheriff's deputies, and their biggest home run hitter actually worked in the jail. So he wasn't a real cop. He was a jailer. And we watched them play, and I can't remember Tom's team name. Anyway, Tom's team lost. They lost the softball game. They, by God, won the fight in the parking lot afterwards. They'd been talking shit all game, and Tom was telling them, "Not them fucking badges and guns, y'all ain't shit. Meet us in the parking lot." Finally, they was like, "Hey, we'll fight you in the parking lot. No charges. No arrest, no nothing. We'll fight you in the parking lot." That was a bad idea, dude, because they whooped the shit out of it. And they didn't arrest them. I'm talking about, dude, 7, 8 cops laying on the asphalt unconscious. People's faces bleeding. It was violent. But there was no repercussions. They didn't do anything to him. I've asked Tom for years, if they messed with him on the road after that. He's like, "No, man, they're cool as they can be." Because they know they don't get that ass whooped. Yeah, that was one of the coolest things I ever got to see. Because all these dudes had at least been to county a few times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drug possession, it's just not nothing bad. But that guy now owns a construction company. Does real well for himself.
Well, regardless of how much trouble they'd been in or hadn't been in, they had an axe to grind.
Yeah, and they ground it, by God. One of the guys that was on that team, about 2 weeks later, got banned for life. Could never play in whatever the association, U.S. whatever. Banned for life. He could never play again, and was trespassed from the tournament fields. He couldn't come to the parking lot. He'd be arrested because an ump called a strike on him, and that ump did suck, and he was very biased. You could tell he was pulling for a team, and he would make. I know you hear that all the time, but I'm telling you, this dude would make bullshit calls for his buddies' teams. And he called a strike on Adam. I'll never forget it. Adam wasn't but like maybe $170, 6 foot tall, young kid. Wasn't big at all, but just lightning fast, man. He called that. He'd already done it a couple of times and called another strike on him. I mean, the ball come by at him over his head. Dude, he just turned around and hit that dude right in the fucking mouth with an aluminum baseball bat. It was bad, dude. They literally, like, other umps come out there and held him on the ground till the cops got there. Dude lost all his teeth, broke his jaw, his orbital socket. That's what kind of people these guys were, man. That's why we befriended them. We were one of the only teams that I don't think we ever had we had some verbal altercations, but we never had anything physical. I used to tell my guys, I'm like, "Hey, man, you start that fight, you finish it. Don't expect everybody to come run out of the dugout, because that's the last thing you want. A one-on-one fight's one thing. You get that whole team out here on the field, it's going to be bad." So, yeah, that's Northeast Alabama softball for you.
It was like the softball version of unnecessary roughness, basically.
Yeah. People talk about it being an old man sport and just a bunch of old fat. Let me tell you, I don't know what it is now, but back then it was just a place to meet up and drink beer, hit a few softballs, and get in a fight. It was a rough place to be. And girls loved it. Dude, we'd have damn carloads of girls pull up, come down there and come sit in the bleachers. Didn't even know anybody. They just come watch the games.
Why is it always about girls with you, man?
Phone numbers. You'd have to spend a little time in Gadsden, Alabama, dude. Gadsden, Alabama.
I did spend a little time in Gadsden, Alabama.
Edward County in general. I don't know about now, because I don't keep up with the younger generation. That would be creepy. But back then, dude, we had a unhealthy imbalance of smoking hot chicks to guys. Like, it seemed like it was 4 or 5 to 1. Dude, they were everywhere. You didn't even have to be that good looking. Somebody was going to have to settle for you.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that the guy to girl ratio is the whole reason I'm alive. So
yeah,
I get it.
It's I'm not a good looking dude, but I can go back through some archives and show you some pictures that blow your mind. You're like, was she fucking retarded or? Yeah, it's the only other place I've ever seen that was like that was Visalia, California.
That's pretty much all of California, actually.
Maybe, but the extremity of it in Visalia was mind blowing. It seemed like there's 9 to 10 chicks to every one dude out there. I mean, if you had all your teeth and could speak English, and yeah, that's all it took. Visalia was the place.
If I remember correctly, there was a lot of orange groves in Visalia too.
Yeah, there were.
A heap of them.
When you leave Visalia and head up toward Fresno, I don't remember the name of the highway. Patina probably knows it. It's a long, straight ass highway through farmlands.
It wasn't 46, was it?
I'm really not sure. I know it wasn't I-5. It wasn't interstate.
No,
it was one like you'd go Lemoore, but Hanford, Visalia. Then if you keep going, it'd take you into Fresno. Fresno sucked. I hated Fresno.
Is it the 5? Because the 5's the interstate.
Yeah, it wasn't
freeway.
I
think it's the 46. I think the 46 comes because I think that's what we took to go, because we'd go to Sierra Summit to snowboard about every other weekend.
I skied Sierra Summit. That's crazy.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's a little podunk ass slope, but the damn lift tickets were cheap as hell.
Yeah, but I remember it being 2-lane because I remember it's lined with trees down the sides. And it was definitely just 2-lane because you get behind a truck and it'd take you forever to get around them. Anyway, on the way up there, often maybe 100 yards off that little highway, there was a building. And when we passed it, I told my buddy Rob, I was like, dude, turn around and go back. I said, why? I said, I want to go look at that building. When we pulled in the parking lot, he was like, what the fuck you want to look at this? It was abandoned. I was like, dude, I know this building. And I'll tell you where I know it from. And I mean, I already knew in my head, but I wanted to make sure. And I walked up, dude, and there was a little plaque on the door of this abandoned. It was just a little cinder block building. And on the plaque, it tells you that was the radio station on the Journey album cover. Now, the towers with the electricity, that wasn't there. But the radio station was legit. It was a rock station for when those guys were kids. And that's why they used it on their album cover. But as soon as I saw it, I thought, man, that's the radio station off the Journey album cover. I don't remember which album it was. But anybody
99 sounds kind of right. Patina said 46 takes you through. I know 46 ain't long. 46 is the highway that
don't sound right to me.
46 is the highway that James Dean died on. But 99 sounds right. Maybe. I don't know. It's been so damn long.
Yeah, what not?
I know we took 46 to the highway that took us in through Fresno and up to Sierra Summit.
Yeah. I got
and 15 sounds kind of
worst
right.
ticket I've ever got. I got on I-5 down close to Bakersfield.
Worst ticket I ever got was on the 101 right at the last Paso Robles exit heading north, right before we got off on Holon Road to head to base.
Traffic's 100 mile an hour on 101.
Huh?
The flow of traffic is 100 miles an hour on 101.
Well, this was at 11, 12 o'clock at night. There wasn't nobody on the road, and it was up in Paso Robles. There wasn't nobody going through there. And I was running 99 and got clocked by a CHP off a overpass, but I was also drinking, so the DUI kind of trumped the 99.
Dopey, I think you might be right. I think the 99 sounds more right, but it's not an interstate. It's definitely bi-directional traffic. But that sounds like it might be right. Yeah, I got pulled over on I-5 just north of Bakersfield for running 137 miles an hour by one of those Mustang GT state trooper cars. As soon as he walks up to my window, he's like, son, you know how fast you're going? I seen that USMC tattoo on his forearm, so I handed him my driver's license and my military ID, and I was like, no, sir. And he said, well, I'm going to be honest with you. This went back when they didn't have radar back in 89. I'm going to be honest with you. We don't have radar or something, but I've been running 150 miles an hour, and it took me 9 miles to catch you. That's probably a little too fast, huh? Yeah.
That's what got me to a damn 50 GT.
Yeah, Tina, you're right. They had that when I was out there. If you're ever driving down the interstate out there and you see those white lines painted across the interstate, those are the spotting lines. So what they do, the plane will watch you cross it. As soon as you touch it, they hit a timer.
Yep.
If you hit the next one, they hit the timer, and it's not enough seconds. They know you were going too fast. Yeah.
What's up, Pedro?
Tina, I was talking about this 2-lane highway on your way to Fresno from Lemoore. There were these really tall trees. I don't remember what kind they were, but they didn't have a lot of limbs on the bottom lower section. Really tall trees that lined both sides of the road. It was bi-directional traffic, and it seemed like every mile. Now, this was in 1989, 1990. It seemed like every mile there was a billboard that said, say no to coal. It was when they were trying to abolish burning coal in California. I guess
that was back in the old days. By the time I got pulled, they were running radar, and the chip caught me from the overpass, radared me.
Well, that's where he got me. He was on the overpass, and it took him 9 miles to catch up to me in a Mustang GT.
Are those eucalyptus trees? I know they got.
I think he's right. I think they are eucalyptus trees, because I remember I can kind of see them in my head. It's been a long time ago, guys. I'm old, but it seems like I do remember the bark shedding and big long strips on those trees.
I know you remember the trees up the 101 close to Salinas, the ones that are painted white, about 10 feet up on the 101. He said that's the 99. That does sound
I didn't travel the 101 very often. I only went down 101 one time.
Oh, we stayed on that.
I was stationed in Lemoore, which is in North California.
Yeah.
I was on the 101 for just a few minutes one day, and then I went to LA a couple of times, and that was just I-5 straight through Bakersfield. And Tina's saying it's the 99. The 99 sounds right.
It does, but I think that
I could be misremembering some things, but I don't misremember the radio station from the Journey album cover. I don't know if you can Google that to this day. It's really cool having this internet stuff now. I know I sound like a fucking old man.
This damn internet stuff's pretty damn cool.
I thought I would never see that bridge again, ever in my life. And I found it on Google and sent pictures of it to Patina and was telling him some of the stories. That was our weekend hangout. I forget the name of it now, but it's in I already forgot the name of the river that runs under it. But
KIGS, Hanford, California.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that where it's at? Yeah. I knew it was right outside of Hanford. Hanford is a absolutely beautiful little town, dude. It's like, you know when you watch those old movies and you see, kind of like in Back to the Future, you know, these historic little towns with the big town square in the middle with a fountain and park benches and all that stuff. That was Hanford.
Here you go.
I don't know. That building was abandoned, and maybe somebody's redone it. Yeah. But I just remember knowing that, you know, on the album cover, there's a huge radio tower with a bolt of lightning going to it. Maybe 2. But there wasn't no towers there. Yeah, Hanford. Kings Canyon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He said Bakersfield.
Dude, all I remember.
Bakersfield is.
Bakersfield.
That's where you get gas if you're heading to Vegas.
Yeah, it just looked like a ghost town to me, and everything was just covered in dust. Maybe I didn't go deep enough into Bakersfield to really experience, but dude, it looked like dust.
You went deep enough.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even see people. I was like, do people even live here? It was just like everything was coated in that light tan dust. Everything was just dirty. I don't know. But yeah, Pedro, I did say Bakersfield. Yeah,
there was people there. They were just probably all inside somewhere smoking meth, listening to desert rock.
You have to keep in mind, dude. I was extremely excited to see Bakersfield because my vision of Bakersfield is, you know, Dwight Yoakam walking down the sidewalk with his guitar over his back. You know, that's all I knew about Bakersfield. That's where Buck Owens and Dwight Yoakam was from. Wasn't a huge Buck Owens fan, but I was a huge Dwight Yoakam fan.
And Korn.
That's true. Korn did come from Bakersfield. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Would it go to Bakersfield and see Dwight Yoakam open for Korn? Hey, he can pull it off. Dwight Yoakam can do anything. Or at least he used to could. I've heard his concerts getting kind of shitty.
I don't know. The best thing Dwight Yoakam ever did was Sling Blade.
No, I disagree.
I mean, he's got some good music, but Sling Blade.
Sling Blade was excellent, and he was excellent in it, dude. But I actually discovered Dwight Yoakam because of a song, Long White Cadillac. They used to play it all the time at the marina. The marina was a fucking dive bar, like it was built out of pallets, just outside Naval Air Station Lemoore on this little creek right there in Kings Canyon. And all they served was beer. They didn't have a liquor. They had a beer license, but not a liquor license. So all the soldiers would go there, but it was as crappy as it was world famous because they served this hamburger called the River Rat. It was a half-pound patty. I'm going to forget some stuff I know, but I know it was a half-pound patty with cheese, bacon, and a fried egg, and a fried hot dog, and more cheese, and
another hot dog.
All the other, lettuce, tomato, onion, guacamole. And it was absolutely delicious, but that became a thing if you were in the naval aviation, if you were in any of the fleets, the VFAs, people would hear about it in Japan or in Guam or whatever. And when they all did their tour and came through Lemoore, they all had to go to the marina and have a river rat. It was almost as big a deal as crossing the equator. So, but we hung out there every weekend. Just drank beer.
That's a big deal there, crossing the equator.
Yeah.
So
we didn't do it on a boat, so there was no.
Whenever I lived in California, the only story I have related to Kerry King was my ex-wife's family was friends with. I don't know if you remember back in the day, there was a murder case where some dipshit kids killed a girl and then blamed it on Slayer, and they got sued or whatever. The girl's name was Elise Paler. A couple of dudes formed a satanic metal band and killed her or whatever, hit her in a eucalyptus grove. But they got sued over it because the boys that did it said that they got the instructions to do so from Slayer lyrics.
Huh. Kerry King, he was the world-renowned guitarist, right?
For Slayer, yeah. Always wore the LA Raiders jerseys.
Played the guitar
or Oakland Raiders jerseys.
He also played the guitar in No Sleep Till Brooklyn for the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
And he played the guitar in, was it Beat It by Michael Jackson?
No, that was Eddie Van Halen.
No, it wasn't. No, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was.
You may be right, yeah. But Kerry King played the guitar in No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That was awesome. But that was just because of his ties to Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin brought everybody together. Speaking of eucalyptus trees, Said Stevie is in Ventura, California, even as we speak.
Is he?
Yep, so I'm sure he's smelling it because it's fucking everywhere down there. That's where I went to A school in Port Hueneme, which is right there in Ventura. That's the only trees, palm trees and eucalyptus everywhere. You ever seen like one of them 14-foot long strips of bark fall off a eucalyptus tree?
Yeah.
Land in the road. It looks like an alligator laying out there. It's amazing how big those pieces of bark are. They're just like paper.
What's up, Quang to the thing?
You walk up and blow on it, and it'd move.
Yeah, Beat It was Van Halen.
Yeah. Kerry King, he played the guitar on another album that you wouldn't expect him to be on. I remember it was No Sleep Till Brooklyn, But he did the guitar for somebody else that you wouldn't expect.
Well,
But I don't think he got much credit for it. But I can't remember what it was. Did I ever go through Pedro? I didn't, man. The couple of times I went through Bakersfield, I was on my way to LA going down I-5. And the real impression I have of Bakersfield might be unfair because it was the most time I ever spent there. I was on a Greyhound bus, and we had to stop there at this little shack to pick up just some cargo. They put cargo underneath the Greyhound buses to make extra money. And that's when we actually stopped. And this particular part of Bakersfield I could see was just like little clapboard buildings and dirt. It was abandoned looking. But that was the really only real experience I had with Bakersfield. Every other time I was hauling ass trying to get over the Grapevine. No, wait, it was Bakersfield. Bakersfield's after the Grapevine, didn't it? Don't you go over the Grapevine and then drop down? No. Bakersfield's before the Grapevine if you're headed south. Because once you go over the Grapevine, you can see LA, you can see Six Flags Magic Mountain, all that shit. But, Tina, if you're talking about corn, I saw corn, but I saw them here in Alabama. I didn't see many. I saw Faster Pussycat at the Pussycat Theater in LA. I thought that was really cool. And there were signs on the door for an up-and-coming band that we did not go back to see because I'd never heard of them. And it was Guns N' Roses. No, it wasn't Guns N' Roses. Who was that? Maybe Cinderella? I don't know. But keep in mind, I came from the South, so primarily I listened to country music, so a lot of my exposure was out there. Yeah. Matter of fact, you're right. It's that wild, isn't it? Oh, Kern is in the Kern River. What is that river that runs through Lemoore? I think that's just the Kings River. Yeah, I think that's the only river I remember. We used to camp out at the Kings River, which is in Alabama would just be a creek. It's like 10 feet wide, 4 feet deep. But we used to hang out at the Kings River, and we had a buddy that had a Nissan Pathfinder pickup truck, and we found a broken diving board somewhere, and we rigged it up to tie it to the bumper of his truck, and we drilled holes and put rope through it, and we would sit on it and then lean back and hold on to that rope, and he would drive around in the sand down there at Kings River and try to sling you off that diving board. Good times.
I'll be right back, dude. I got to tinkle.
Okay. Kearns is a city above Bakersfield. That's where the Sequoias and Kings Canyon. Oh, okay. Yeah, most of my experience with Kings Canyon was right there, just right there around the Lemoore, Hanford area. Was the Kern River something to see? Did I miss out? We were just talking about the name of that river that runs under that bridge that we used to hang out so much playing, but I already forgot the name of it now. Apparently people kayak it, but every time we went, I guess we were there at the wrong time. There's, especially right there under that bridge, there was barely any water at all. It was just rocks. Funny thing, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw Merle Haggard in California. It was really strange being from Alabama. The first time I ever saw the band Alabama was at a rodeo in maybe in Fresno, somewhere in Northern California. But then I also saw Merle Haggard in Fresno in 1990. And went back about a month later and saw, still to this day, what I think is probably one of the greatest rock and roll concerts I've ever witnessed. Nobody ever talks about them. Some people forgot about them, and I don't believe there was anybody any better than the Scorpions. It was an amazing show. They sound amazing live. The Scorpions were the shit. Okay, Kern's a nice river, lots of partying and camping there. It ain't hard to find a party in California. Matter of fact, I started to film it, dude, but I was so nervous because the area was so tight in that RV crossing it. I started to film me crossing the Mississippi today, right there in Memphis. It's just crazy how industrial all that looks, dude. It's just one bridge after another, and it's these really old big steel girders, and yeah. One Moon, a Rush fan will argue that with anybody. I thoroughly respect Rush. A couple of their songs I like, but it's kind of like Benchmade for some people. I just don't like them because their fans are too. They're just too. Fans.
What'd you do? Did you say somebody besides Neil Peart is the greatest drummer?
No, I just said that nobody was any better than the Scorpions live, and I mean it. I'm not saying Rush is not good live. They may be just as good, but they're not better. I also don't believe there was ever a better hair metal front guy than Mark Slaughter.
And you know, I never was. I mean, I dabbled in the hair metal genre for a bit, but I never was a big Slaughter fan.
Yeah. Slaughter got the girls, dude.
It always comes back to the girls, don't it?
Everything in my life. You pick up a couple of chicks in California, put in up all night, sleep all day. Before you know it, dude, they're in their tops off and they're dancing in the car. And yeah, Slaughter was.
I wasn't a big Scorpions fan either. But
Yeah, you're right. They were more popular in Europe because they were from there, but
yeah, they were German, weren't they?
yeah, I don't know if they were German. I'm not sure. I'm not positive about that. I don't think they really hit it big in the U.S. other than "Rock Me Like a Hurricane," and then that was it "The Winds of Change"? Wasn't that ballad they did? It hit really big here.
Queensryche was they were definitely a talented band.
Yeah, that's another one for me.
They were a little more progressive than.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for super technical music. If that makes any sense. It's almost like it loses its. I could be wrong. It might not have anything to do with the music. It may just be that the fans are so obnoxious that I can't listen to it. Dopey, I don't doubt that. A lot of their music did have some political stuff. So yeah. But go back and listen to the Winds of Change by the Scorpions and tell. I mean, who sang any better than that? They were perfect to me. Satisfaction, I didn't, buddy. He never got back with me, and I just kind of run out of time. But in all honesty, Matty, it was never going to happen because when I typed in the address you gave me, it showed me staying in the same direction, and it showed how far away it was. But I didn't zoom out to realize it was showing go to the next off ramp and turn around and go the other way that hours. I thought he was 2 hours down the road. He was 2 hours behind me. So it was never going to happen. So no ways.
I actually do, Patina.
Todd Carr, I'd be scared to death to listen to it, dude. If it sucked, it'd break my heart. For those of you who don't know what me and Matt's, I was trying to meet up with Jack Slums while I was in Oklahoma, but it was never going to happen anyway. I mean, it could have, but I'd be getting home tomorrow. I'd be in a hotel right now.
I dig that a lot of the stoner rock, doomy metal type stuff.
The club sandwich. I almost fell in love with a chick in Oklahoma. I pulled in this little damn 24-hour mom and pop's little greasy spoon restaurant, and I walked in and sit down, and you tell she probably hadn't seen the person in a while. She comes up to my table, and I was talking to her, and I was like, "Sweetie, be honest with me. How's that hamburger?" And she looked at me and kind of rolled her eyes. She's like, "Baby, it ain't Five Guys, but it's okay." So I ordered it. And I told her when I was done, I was like, "Somebody ought to marry you, girl. You don't find girls that honest very often, because you're right. It wasn't fucking Five Guys." So I left her a $20 tip.
Patina, if you like them, have you ever listened to The Sword? Because they're pretty badass as well. Not so much bluesy, but
I'll be completely honest, guys. My taste in music, as embarrassing as this sounds, is mostly mainstream.
bro rock.
I know that's lame, but it just is what it is. There's a lot of great music out there that I just don't get. That was so hard, dude, with being friends with Jason Brown. Jason would send me like 20 music videos to listen to, dude. 15 seconds into every one of them, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I'd make myself listen as long as I could. I'm like, "Yeah, man, not my cup of tea." God, dude was into so, and there was no limits to what he listened to, though.
Oh yeah,
he would listen to anything, and the less the album sold, the more into it he was. I didn't eat no ass, but if I go back to Oklahoma, I'll stop there again.
see, I'm kind of like, I listen to all music, and I don't really have a. I mean, it depends on the mood I'm in as to what I'm listening to, but I don't have a favorite genre. I've got like
I
favorite bands.
I can't listen to the Grateful Dead.
Well, that's your loss.
I know. I'm not bad mouthing them. It's just not. I just can't listen to it. Can't listen to Grateful Dead. Very little Pink Floyd, just the mainstream Pink Floyd stuff. You know, everybody talks about Dark Side of the Moon, Dark Side of the Moon. Not about all that.
Well,
I hadn't recognized a single name Patina Turner's typed in the past 10 minutes.
oh, also Patina, Wofat is another good one. Fu Manchu.
Whoa!
Whoa!
What'd you say?
What?
Did you say Fu Manchu?
Yeah, the band.
Dude, I went to see Fu Manchu at the Nick in Birmingham.
Really?
This is about the size of y'all's living room.
They're freaking good, dude.
Yeah, they had literally just finished Warped Tour. And dude, if you know this band's name that opened for them, Fu Manchu is incredible.
Yeah.
A little technical for me, a little fast for me, but they're still incredible. But the band that opened for them was Valiant Thor. Dude, Valiant Thor was the most fun live show. By the end of the show, that dude was soaking wet with sweat. His dreads are soaking wet. He's stripped down to nearly always. He's got the entire crowd, which is probably only 150 people. It's a tiny building. He's got everybody down on their knees, dude. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I loved Valiant Thor. Dude, I had Valiant Thor stickers on my truck. We went for Fu Manchu, but dude, I'm telling you, Valiant Thor blew Fu Manchu. No, Fu Manchu wasn't on Warped Tour. Valiant Thor was. They had just come off Warped Tour. Yeah. Such an awesome concert. All of us at the tattoo shop went when we found out Fu Manchu was coming. We had a sign in the tattoo shop. A guy had a custom license plate made. He couldn't put it on his van because it wasn't legal. It was too many letters. That said Boogie Van. And all the members of Fu Manchu signed it. It was hanging on the wall in our tattoo shop. You remember the song Boogie Van?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a Boogie Van custom license plate hanging on the wall with all their autographs on it. Yeah. I can't believe I've never met anybody that has heard of Fu Manchu.
Really? Yeah, I love them. If you like them, you should check out Wofat. Or you probably like Clutch.
I appreciated the music, and it was great to experience live. But it played in our CD player at the shop quite often. Some of it I could kind of get into, but anything I listened to from it took me a few times of listening to it to start to enjoy it. But it was hard for me, in all honesty. Yeah.
What you like?
You ever heard of the band Gargantua?
Yeah.
Okay, Gargantua. I don't know if he was the lead singer the entire time, but at one point in time, the band Gargantua's lead singer was a gentleman by the name of Shane Morton. Shane Morton is the tattoo rock star, or he was. In the 2000s, Shane Morton was God. And he was the lead singer of Gargantua, at least for a moment in time. But this dude went to Dracula's castle. He tattooed inside Vlad the Impaler's castle. They let him set up a tattoo chair inside Vlad the Impaler's castle and do tattoos in there. Yeah. He was also dating, when I worked at the tattoo shop, we'd go by to see Shane. If you went by on the right day, because she wasn't home a lot, she traveled a lot. He was dating Lita.
Lita Ford?
No, Lita from WWE.
Oh.
Amy Dumas is her real name.
Okay.
But yeah, we went by one time in Atlanta, and Lita was there. Dude, I was a huge Lita fan, so that was cool for me. But Shane Morton called us one time at the tattoo shop. Just out of the blue, just called. What's up, Shane? What's going on, man? He was like, "Oh man, I'm just taking it easy, hanging out in Atlanta." I said, Rob Zombie called me, wanted to come hang out, so we're just out riding around. And it's perfect Shane Morton because Rob Zombie called him to hang out. But Shane did a lot of Rob Zombie's tattoos. But yeah, dude, absolute rock star back in the day. Shane Morton was what almost every tattoo artist wanted. Is Demon Knock in here? If you're not,
yeah, Demon Knock's in here.
Boy, show your Demon Knock. Do you know Shane Morton? Have you heard of him? When they broke up, they became Nebula. Check that. I'm trying to see what all he's saying. See if he chimed in on any of this. No, all music. Lita.
Demon Knock says he knows him. Somebody asked a question about the Geiger tattoos. He said, no, that was Paul Booth, but he said he knows Shane Morton.
I can get it on camera. That's Paul Booth right there.
Oh, shit.
Paul Booth. I was hesitant to get a Paul Booth tattoo because back when I started tattooing, my deal was I wouldn't do anything demonic or sacrilegious. And the majority of Paul Booth stuff's dark. So that's just a, Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ. I'm surprised there's not a devil.
A 666 in there somewhere, maybe a pentagram.
Yeah. Paul Booth was a fucking madman. God, he was ugly as a beat up dog, though.
Well, it has 9 arms and sucks. Def Leppard.
What? That was my first rock concert, dude. I love Def Leppard. Like I said, though, I listened to a lot of mainstream shit. You got removed from the list twice. What did you do? Just try to tell him what you wanted? What about, were you ever on Bob Tyrell's books? Dude, the last time I checked, I was 2.5 years away from a Bob Tyrell tattoo. And that spot had cost me $300. And I had paid it 2 years prior to that. So I paid the man $300 for a spot. Waited 2 years to find out that my spot was 2.5 years away. And I was going to have to bring him another $1,200 when I got there. And at that point in time, you couldn't even suggest what you wanted. If you got tattooed by Bob Tyrell, he tattooed whatever the fuck he wanted to on you. I'd heard of people getting away with kind of suggesting kind of what they wanted. But, yeah, Bob Tyrell, when I was tattooing, Bob Tyrell, Shane Morton might have been the rock star, but Bob Tyrell was the king. You know, everybody bowed to Bob Tyrell. Let me tell you something. This new kid, Luke Palin, I know y'all don't think it's sacrilegious of me. Anybody in the tattoo business is going to hate this, but I'm telling you, Luke Palin blows all them dudes away. If you added all their talent together, in my opinion, Luke Palin smokes them all. And Stevie is right there in the PNW and could get tattooed by him, and he's an idiot if he don't.
Well, y'all are out of my league on this. My first tattoo was by a chick, a Sonic the Hedgehog tattoo by this chick in a storage building in her backyard, which she did go on. She owns a chain of tattoo shops in the Cobb County area called the Illustrator, but back then she was doing them out of a little storage shed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Demon, but Paul apprenticed under Bob, isn't that right? Pretty sure Paul Booth apprenticed under Bob. Pretty sure. Booth done Kerry King's headpiece. Yeah.
And we've come full circle on Kerry King.
We did. We've already hit that Shane Morton did most of Rob Zombie's. There's a guy here in Gadsden that's got a Shane Morton tattoo in 3-inch letters across his neck, and you can't read it because it's tattooed backwards. He can read it in the mirror. It says black blood vomit across his throat.
Oh, that's something.
It is to him. I mean, really, it has.
I mean, it's got to have some significance.
It was when he overdosed.
Oh.
Yeah. But of course, around the black blood vomit is like, not stitches, but, you know, doctors draw the little segmented lines of where they're going to cut.
Yeah.
It says black blood vomit in, not old ink, like in pinstripe. Pinstripe is, do I have any pinstripe? Yeah, on the back of my head. I can't show it. Pinstripe's just the real, you know.
The frilly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Paul apprenticed under Bob. I don't know if you know him, but Shane Morton apprenticed. No, I'm sorry, he didn't apprentice him. Shane Morton was in a shop for a while called Black Cat in Atlanta. And the other guy at Black Cat, I can't remember his name, is a fat dude, is the guy who apprenticed Jeremy Crawford, who apprenticed me. I can't remember that guy's name now. He's in the knife community. It's what's strange. He got ousted from the tattoo community. He was a piece of shit. And he got ousted and got everything he deserved. His diabetes got so bad he's in a wheelchair. But it was really weird, dude. When I first started typing in chat, I get this message on the Instagram, because I was Shane Gable's PKR at the time, and he was like, "Are you Shane Gables from Gadsden, Alabama?" And I was like, "Yeah." Tommy Stegall. That's his name. Tommy Stegall. Fuck him. But anyway, yeah, I am. He was like, "It's Tommy, man." I was like, "Oh, yeah, that dude's." Anyway, he tried to get me fired at the shop I worked at. He was a horrible businessman and lost Black Cat in Atlanta. So because Jeremy had apprenticed on him, Jeremy would just be honored to let Tommy work at his shop. And he destroyed everything, dude. He destroyed all the chemistry in the shop. It was horrible. But he went to Jeremy and he was like, "Man, you got to get this guy out of here." Jeremy's like, "Why?" He's like, "He don't have enough talent to be tattooed here." And that's the truth. I never argued that. It doesn't hurt my feelings for somebody to tell me that I'm not as talented as Tommy Stegall or Jeremy Crawford. I was, but the problem was the majority of tattoo customers in this town were teenagers or in early 20s that wanted flash. These guys wouldn't do flash. It was beneath them to do flash. I was good at flash, So I just did all the flash, and that's what started this whole falling apart of Old School Inc. was Tommy trying to get me ran out of the shop because my work wasn't, or I wasn't as talented as everybody else. And Jeremy's like, Tommy, Shane makes me twice as much money as anybody in here. He literally banks twice as much money as every other artist in here because I did the popular shit. There's Ojo.
Well, Steven's in here.
Steven, did you get me my picture? Was it the right place? I asked Stevie if he'd take me a picture of a restaurant that's close to where he's staying.
Good night, Brother Def. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Brother Joe. Oh, Gigolo Joe.
But Tommy Stegall had a live-in girlfriend that was an absolute smoke show, dude. Whew, she was hot. I just didn't understand it because Tommy was, I'm big, dude, but Tommy was like sloppy fat. And anyway, but she was the first girl that I ever discovered. I didn't even know there was a such thing as girls being nude online and charging money for it. You know, OnlyFans does now. But when I found out that she was on there, and I hated Tommy anyway, I made sure to go check out all her pics. And another guy we had working with us, I didn't like him either, but he banged her, so that was even better. I loved it when Tommy found out that he banged his old lady. A lot of drama in tattoo shops, in case you guys don't know.
I think you got a couple of petty bones in your body,
I
homie.
do. I'm fucking cool. Look there, Lancelot Leather at Sunday Cafe. Is it still amazing, Joe? And what'd you have?
I don't know, but Stevie said he's naked on the beach sipping bourbon right now.
Oh. Well, Stevie said it was the wrong restaurant, too, though. I'm a little upset. Stevie's in Ventura. And when I was in A school, right out of boot camp, I went to a restaurant in Ventura called TC Chords. And on Tuesdays, they had all-you-could-eat beef ribs. For, I think it was $12.99 or $14.99. But they had a leaderboard, a big chalkboard with who had ate the most. And it wasn't an entire rack of ribs. It was like 4 bones, and they're beef ribs that are big and long. It's a lot of meat. And as soon as I saw that board, I was like, oh, dude, I got to do this. And I ate 14. I think the record at the time was either 11 or 12, and I ate 14. And I told Stevie my name was on the chalkboard as the leader, but I forgot to leave out one. It was only there for a week. We went back a week later. I didn't try to beat my record. I just went there to eat, but a guy went with us. It's so weird. I just found him on Facebook like a year ago. Timmy Ostrom was his name. Little bitty dude, man. I bet he wasn't 140 pounds. And that sumbitch ate, he beat me by 2. He sure did. He knocked me down to second place. A little bitty motherfucker. In a beanbag. You had the filet, and it was, it wasn't bad. So the best thing I've ever ate was at Sunday Cafe. I got so I get this right, the bacon wrapped, crab stuffed jumbo shrimp, and it was on a bed of artisanal grits.
That sounds like the seafood version of turducken.
Yeah, with Hollandaise sauce drizzled across it, and it was the most amazing thing I ever ate.
You have a heart attack just smelling that shit.
The what is it? The lamb chops. They may have been excellent lamb chops. I'm just not a fan. I never ate lamb before, so
they probably would have been better if they were wrapped in some other kind of meat.
Probably.
And smothered in hollandaise sauce or Hollandaise sauce.
We had stopped at the Marlin. I think it's the first restaurant on the beach on your left when you get to Tybee Island. And it was horrible and way too expensive. So we asked a local that owned the ice cream shop. So I said, hey, man, we're going to be here 3 days. Where would you eat? And he said, if I was going to be here 3 days, I'd eat all 3 I'd eat 6 meals at the Sunday Cafe. And we didn't eat 6 meals, but we ate 2. And it was impressive. The shrimp aren't on the menu anymore.
Wait, so Joe's on Tybee Island right now?
If you ate Sunday Cafe, he is.
Shit. I used to...
Is it still in the BP gas station parking lot? This place was literally a 5-star restaurant. And when we went there 12 years ago, it was literally a door in the side of a back of a BP gas station. But I knew we were in the right place because every cop in town was parked outside. Haagen-Dazs sauce.
Haagen-Dazs sauce. I used to spend a lot of time on old Jekyll Island.
Yep, same place for the last 20 years. Yeah. It's amazing.
We might have to make a road trip here, man. You make this place sound so damn good.
It's amazing that you can find. Hey, Joe, are you guys going to the? Is it Newsom's in Savannah? I think it's Newsom's. Newsom's. Anyway, dude, people told us about it. It's like, you got to go here and eat. So we did. And when we get there and park, we're not in, like, it's not in the commercial part of town. It's just all these old historic, you picture the Savannah houses, with the dual stairways and all that. I'm like, this can't be right. And she's like, these are the directions they gave us. So we get out and we're walking down the street. And I come upon this guy who's hand planing a door. I think it's Newsom's. Anyway, I asked him, I was like, hey, we're looking for this restaurant. And I told him the name. He was like, yeah, man, just get in line right here. Get in line? It's just us on the sidewalk. So we're standing there. When you were about 15 minutes early, people told us to get there early. They opened it like 11. So it's 11:15. He tells us, get in line right here. So we're standing. Dude, by 11 o'clock, that line was 2 blocks long. It disappeared. Just hundreds of people. Well, at 11 o'clock, he stands that door up. I think it's Newsom's Boarding House. That's what it says on the door. He stands the door up. That's the only signage. And the door goes onto the basement of the house. So it's like below ground. So you'd never know it was there. And he rehangs the door and says, all right, y'all, come on in. We walk in, and there's maybe 6 tables. Could be 8. 6 to 8 tables that seat like 10 people apiece. So we walk in, and we sit down, and all these strangers start sitting down around us. So you're eating with people you don't know. And this guy comes out and gives a brief history on the place. And then he says the blessing. And as soon as he's done saying the blessing, dude, these old wide-hip black ladies start coming out of the kitchen with bowls of food. And I'm telling you, it never fucking stops. You can eat till you throw up. And when you look up, there's another one coming out of that kitchen with another bowl of food. It was like $15. They would bring out a huge bowl of fried chicken. And it's the best fried chicken I've ever ate. And what was weird was it'd get down about half full, so there'd probably be 8 to 10 pieces of chicken left in the bowl. They'd snatch it off the table and replace it with a full one. So I asked her, I was like, man, that seems like a lot of waste. Like, why do you grab the bowl while there's still chicken in it? She said, we pull every bowl off the table when it's half empty. We take it back to the kitchen and make plates for the homeless. They're lined up in the back alley. I was like, how many of them? She said, probably 150. They go there every day and get an absolutely delicious home-cooked meal out the back door of that restaurant. It's amazing. And the food.
That's what's up.
I can't tell you how many courses it was because I couldn't count. But like, people are just constantly handing you these bowls. So you take a piece of chicken, then you take some pulled pork, you take some rhubarb, you take some mashed potatoes, you take some cream corn, you take some. It's just never ending, dude. It's almost annoying because it's hard to eat because the bowls don't stop coming at you.
I don't know if that's the same place I've been to back in the day when I was little. We used to go to this place called the Hubbard House.
Were you looking?
What's that?
Is that what you were looking at on your phone? That restaurant?
No,
Joe's gotta go there, dude. If you go to Savannah, you got to go there.
but no, I was talking about this restaurant that Patina's talking about. It was like family style dining. They sit several different families at the same table.
Yeah.
And fill your ass up.
I don't think I've got it right. I don't think it's. But here's Newsom's restaurant. That's in Burgess, Virginia. That ain't it. I'm getting it wrong. Joe, I promise you, buddy. Ask around, find out where this family dining place is, and it's right around downtown Savannah. It's if you go to Savannah, you got to go there. We were trying to get into what's that white lady they deemed racist?
Which one?
All the time. The chef, the Southern chef. Visit Savannah.
Not the Pioneer woman, was it?
No, she said something about black people and they canceled her.
Martha Stewart?
No.
Paula Dean.
Paula Dean.
Yeah, the butter lady.
Go to Paula Dean's, and dude, it's like a 2-hour wait every day. And then everybody told us, man, it's highly overrated. It's not worth it. That's when they told us to go to this place. How long are you going to be there, Joe? I know my wife will remember. I'll ask her in the morning. I probably, if you don't like it, I'll.
Steve said Paula Abdul.
Yeah, Paula Abdul. Stevie's in rare form tonight, ain't he?
I half expecting Stevie and Maddie's heads to pop up in here. Mary Max.
Every time I say it, my wife corrects me because I'm saying it wrong. So now I get why.
Joe said they'll be there another couple days.
Pirate's House. I'll know the name if I see it. I know I will. It's one of those places. It's like a really well kept local secret. It's gosh, gonna make me mad. Mrs. Wilt's dining room opens at 11 a.m. You better be there at about 10:30. Mrs. Wilt's dining room. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about though? It's got the big family style table, so you'll be sitting with other people on vacation, and everybody's super friendly. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was just like the Hubbard House where we used to go eat.
And all them old black women got on T-shirts, making fun of either KFC or Popeyes or whatever. The fried chicken's amazing.
The one time when we went to that place, because they'll call out your like they'll call out the family name or whatever name you give them when you check in or whatever. And we went there one time, and the hostess said, Robin's family. And we raised our hands, and another family raised their hands. And she was like, James Robbins. And my dad raised his hand. The other dude in that family raised his hand. Said, James R. Robbins. My dad raised his hand. The other dude raised his hand. So I think my dad's middle name was Ralph. The other dude's middle name was like Robert or something. But they were both James R. Robbins family. We sit down, and it was literally both families were husband, wife, and one kid. And the kid in that family's name was Sean. So, I mean, it was weird as hell. So Sean Robbins, John Robbins, and 2 James R. Robbins. The moms were left out. They didn't have similar names, so we shunned them.
Stevie, everybody's
favorite part of eating at Mary Mac's, the waitress, what would you like for dessert? Nuz. Yes.
Yeah, I heard he ate all of them. So he said everyone said we had to have peach cobbler. I'm not a fan of peach cobbler in Georgia.
I love peach cobbler, but banana pudding is where it's at. If it's good homemade banana pudding. Well, you're not even from around here.
Yeah, I don't get down on baked fruit. Yeah, Mrs. Wilkes. That was the best meal as far as taste I had was at Sunday Cafe, but the food was excellent at Wilkes, but it was just a very different experience. It was really, really cool.
Dude, for all the California folks in here, have any of y'all eaten at a F. McClintock's? That pet place is bomb. I know when I lived out there, I think there was like two. There was like one in San Luis Obispo and one somewhere else, but I think there's more now. But they make these, they call them ranch style beans. Best damn beans you have ever eaten in your damn life. And I think when my buddy Sean came out to drive me back east, when I moved back east, I said we got to go to F. McClintock's and eat. So we went there, and apparently my beans had a rock in it. I bit in that son of a bitch, and I thought I broke a tooth. And
anywhere you get beans, though, dude. You know what that tells you? That tells you
that?
They probably weren't canned.
No, they weren't canned. They were damn.
I remember my mama sorting beans. When she
Yeah.
cooked a pot of pinto, she'd have to sort through, and it never failed. There was 2 or 3 little pieces of gravel in there.
But that ended up getting me free beer for the rest of the night at that restaurant, so I was cool with it.
I don't blame you.
But dude,
I've been told I'm not Southern because I don't eat pecan pie, I don't eat pumpkin pie, I don't eat nanner pudding, I don't eat peach cobbler. I don't eat any cobbler.
You're
only pie I like is lemon ice box or key lime pie.
I like both of those, but I like the real pies too. You from
I know I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
I like the apple pie at McDonald's or the apple pie at Popeyes, but I don't like homemade apple pie.
Dude, something is seriously wrong with you.
The apples got too much snap to them. I don't know. I don't like it. See, those pies are frozen. The apples done got all soft.
The only pie Shane eats his ass.
I'll eat that pie. You make me a big old ass pie, I'm down.
Yeah, there's lots of beef in those F. McClintock beans.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a treat because we were so poor when we was kids. Every now and then my mom would come home with a box of Miller wafers. She'd be like, you can't have but a few. I got to have them for that nanner pudding. I ain't care nothing about the nanner pudding, so I just sit there and eat Miller wafers. Now, that's not saying it wrong because it was actually back then.
It's Nilla wafers. There was no
beef. Nilla wafers.
Yep. Yeah. Demonock, that beat that.
I tried one recently.
That trumps my find of a rodent's tooth in a packet of those Knorr noodles. You know, Knorr makes the little rice. They're like 99 cents at the store. They make little rice dishes. You just add water. You boil them. They make noodles and shit. I was eating one of those and I bit down on something hard and I spit it out and there's a rat's tooth. So I called and complained. You know what the lady offered me?
What?
$10 off coupons on more Knorr products.
No. So that'd be awesome. To be honest with you, all it would take for me to like homemade apple pie is they just cut the apples up really small. If they cut them up into just little small cubes so they'd cook all the way through, or maybe it's just my grandma's, but the apples would like snap when you bit into them. I didn't like it.
And it's not.
I love the filling and the crust. I love all that. And I love apples. I just didn't. Yeah.
Hell no, Stevie. I told the lady, I said, I will never eat another one of your products again. And that was probably over 10 years ago. And it was just recently I finally ate another one of their products. And I mean, they taste good. Huh?
What product was this?
The Knorr noodles, Knorr rice, Knorr. Like that makes the jars. They make cheap noodle shit too.
Oh yeah. Lancelot said, "You know he took the coupon."
Hell no.
Took that coupon.
I was offended. And it's not Nana pudding, it's Nanner pudding is how you're supposed to say it. I don't know how Shane's saying it, but it's supposed to be Nanner pudding.
That's what I said, Nanner pudding.
Okay. Well, he left the A at the end. Nana pudding. Nana's what you call your grandma.
Yeah, Nana. I just call my mama. Apparently that's a Southern thing too.
Yeah, I had my Gadsden grandma was Mama. And then when I got adopted, it was Mama and Gaga.
Mama and Pawpaw. Then when I had my grandson, they asked what I wanted him to call me. There was no question in my mind I wanted to be Pawpaw. That's what he calls me.
And my parents are Pop and Sar.
Ain't that warms your heart, dude. Like having a grandson when he sees you, he's hey, Pawpaw.
while he's manipulating his little Swiss Army knife.
Oh my gosh, Demon Hop.
Wait, what the hell? What had happened?
There's a tooth in his food.
A human tooth. Oh yeah, he said there was a fight in the kitchen tonight.
I don't know about that. Them kitchen workers.
That's funny as hell. I mean,
sometimes.
my condolences, dude, because that would be traumatizing.
Yeah.
But and speaking of pizza, one of the best pizzas I've ever had in my life is at this place in Arroyo Grande called Klondike Pizza, and they have reindeer sausage on it. Freaking good. Dirt floor with peanut shells all over it. It's the best damn pizza you've ever eaten.
And anytime I hear any type of exotic meat like that, it reminds me of, I told you before knives, for like 20 years, my pastime was mostly off-roading. Well, I discovered that there were these organized off-roading events, and I went to my first one way unprepared, dude. I had a 81 straight axle Toyota with a little bit of lift and some on it. Anyway, so I get up there, and like I said, I'm way unprepared. I didn't bring nowhere near enough money because I was poor. And I run across this group of guys that were riding. They all had Suzuki Samurais with Geo Tracker engines and transmissions and Toyota front and rear axles in them. Those things were badass. But anyway, since I was in a Toyota, we kind of hit it off, and we hung out all day. And they invited me. They asked me, what I was going to do for dinner, and I was like, well, I got my free dinner pass that I got with my ticket, dude. That food was fucking horrible. I was like, man, you can't eat that. Come eat with us. So I got over there, and they'd made stew that had elk and moose and caribou and all that. Dude, it was fabulous. It was it was chili. I'm sorry. Yeah, wild game chili. It was probably the best chili I've ever ate. Well, I wake up the next morning, and I woke up a little late. Almost everybody was already gone. And as soon as I go to crawl out of my tent, dude, I get this pain. And I'm looking at the bathroom. It's like 100 yards away. And I'm like, I ain't never going to make it. Ain't no way I'm going to make it to that bathroom. I mean, it was a serious pain.
Did you shit the bed?
So I turn around. I look back in my tent, a borrowed tent, by the way. Didn't even belong to me. And I've got this little cheap dollar store plastic 6-pack cooler. I had no choice, dude. So I squat down on this cooler and damn near blow the bottom out of it. I get done. I had no choice. I took my underwear, wipe, threw them in there, put the lid back on it, shut it. So I go outside, start tearing all my stuff down to get ready to go home, take my tent down. I'm thinking, what am I going to do with that cooler? So I just left it sitting there. And as I was pulling out, dude, I was watching the groundskeeper guy that was walking around with a stick and a bag, throwing garbage away. And I remember when he stopped and saw that cooler, you could tell he was excited, dude. He got him a free cooler. I never did see him open it, and God, I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm talking about, dude, it looked exactly like it did going in. It looked like wild game chili when it came back out, too.
I'll tell you what, though, if you're gonna, if you ever have to shit in a tent, the best kind of tent to shit in?
What?
A borrowed tent.
Yeah. Well, the tent ended up becoming mine.
I bet so.
This is what happened. I borrowed it from a buddy of mine. And because like I said, dude, I was way unprepared. It's my first year. I found out like a week before the event. I didn't even have a pull truck. I had to drive to Toyota up there, which meant I had to drive it home. So I had no idea how extreme this was going to be, but it was bad. So the first day we rode for like 12 hours, dude. I was just fucking exhausted, man. I didn't even have power steering on this Toyota. So you can imagine turning big mud tires in rocky creek beds with no power steering. Anyway, I get back, man. I'm just exhausted, dude. As soon as we get back to camp, literally, guys, this is like 3 football fields this camping area is, and you're literally sharing tent stakes with one another. The tents are touching. It's that packed. I crawl in there and go to sleep, and I got hot. So I just unzipped the tent a little bit and stuck my head out of the tent. So you can picture it. It's just this little 2-man cheap Walmart pup tent with just my head sticking out of it to cool off a little bit. A little while later, I wake up because water's hitting me. Starting to drizzle a little bit. About to rain. First thing I thought, that's going to make the riding interesting. But then I look around. I'm the only tent there. It's day one. There's still 2 more days of this to go. I'm literally the only tent there. So where the fuck did everybody go? I mean, you're talking about, there was 1,200 people. I know because I asked. There was 1,200 camping things sold. I didn't have a clue. So well, fuck it. I'm going to go back to sleep. It cooled off at this point. The temperature dropped. I climb up my tent, then I'm laying there, and I hear it. That a train? Damn it. Sounds like a train. I don't remember any train tracks. Everybody had left because they'd sounded the tornado alarm. And there I was, the only tent in the middle of this field. It was too late, dude. I didn't have anywhere to go. So I just
Did you go to the basement? Or no, you went.
I was in a tent.
You went in the bathroom and got in the tub, right? That's one of the safest places.
I was in a tent in the middle of a field. So I just laid there, and I was thinking, I'm from Alabama, dude. We have tornadoes all the time. It ain't gonna do shit. Wind started picking up a little bit, and dude, this train sound just keeps getting louder and louder. And I lay there, and all of a sudden, dude, it gets so bad that the tent, the flexible rods just pop, and the tent. Picture me laying here, and the tent just stands straight up, like it's touching both sides of my body, and the top of the tent is going in a tornado. And I just laid there and rode it out. It didn't pick me up, didn't hurt me. But so the tornado was over. A couple hours later, everybody shows back up. Well, we went on the ride the next day, dude. And there's like houses, trees, semi-trucks, RVs just scattered all along the sides of the interstate where that tornado just wrecked everything. And I rode it out in a 2-man pup tent.
Did it pick you up off the ground at all? Like anything?
No, never even got close. But I mean, it was, yeah.
You can't
I mean,
fuck with the chain.
I wasn't, but like, I was probably 270 at the time. About the size I am now. Maybe a little bit bigger, but no, about the size I am now. But so anyway, I get home and I drive to my buddy's house and I hand him his tent and I tell him the story and he's just standing there staring at me like the story. He looks at it and hands it back and says, "No, man, it's yours. You earned it." So I kept that tent and I slept in it every time I went on a out-of-state ride. That's why I slept in was that tent, even though the zipper was broke. You could zip up the net part, but not the anyway.
What made him give it to you? The riding out the tornado, or the fact you shit in it?
I didn't tell him the shitting story.
Oh, damn!
Riding out the tornado story.
He might have wanted to keep it if you told him the shitting story.
Yeah.
What's up, Cheeto Bandito?
He went with me the next year, and he's got pictures of where they. I went to the porta potty. We'd been on a ride all day, so I go to the porta potty, take shit, and while I'm in there, 2 of them come up with those big yellow tie-down straps like you tie a car down with on a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I wrap them around the porta potty and ratchet it shut so I can't open the door. And then hook tow rope to it and drug me around the parking lot. The whole time, I folded the corner of the door. I've been in half folded, had my head sticking out, screaming at them to stop. And they're just hauling ass, dragging this porta potty. It never fell over. I don't know how. But they're just dragging me around the parking lot in the porta potty, taking pictures and laughing their asses off. And the fucking camping attendant standing there laughing his ass off. I don't remember if it was the same camping attendant that I left the shit cooler for.
More than likely it was.
It makes
given his reaction.
Sense of why he allowed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All this happened in Monteagle, Tennessee.
Whenever I worked construction, if somebody, especially a new guy, went in the porta potty, we just pull the backhoe up with the front end loader against the door and leave it there for a little
Those doors
while.
ain't shit. You can fold them out. If you push hard enough, they'll just pop and fold. But because they had 2 straps, I didn't have room to get out. I tell you right now, though, dude, I made it like, if this motherfucker falls over and I get poo on me, that would be the end of me and Meathead.
Somebody's dying.
Yeah. Yeah, but I survived it.
You survived a lot of interesting shit stories.
I told you why. It's because I'm stupid, and I put myself in stupid situations. And stupid situations end up making for great stories.
But what the miracle is the fact you survive them all.
Yeah. Come out of that one unscathed. Yeah. Then the next day we almost got shot in the face. That's a story for another time. It's a pretty long one.
Was there a bowel movement involved?
No. The old man dying of cancer involved.
Oh, Lord.
We was trying to get him out of the woods. He had no business being there. So we took a shortcut in Montego, Tennessee. I'm sure Joe can tell you. You don't take shortcuts in Montego, Tennessee because you end up in the middle of a pot field.
Yeah.
And said pot field owner was not happy. Even after we explained that this old man was literally dying. I mean, no shit. He was dying. He hadn't had his medicine. He was out there with his young grandkids. We'd given them all of our food and water, trying to get them through, trying to get them out of there. They sent him on a trail he had no business being on. Literally, his Jeep was attached to the back of my Toyota all day. I never unhooked the strap because I had to pull him over and through everything. And we explained to the guy, I was like, hey, man, we're sorry. We're just really trying to get this guy out of the woods before he dies. He said, he can fucking die. You turn around and go back the way you came. So we did. When we got there was the camping area. It was down Tennessee Highway Patrol helicopters, ambulances, fire trucks. They'd been on a mad search for this guy because his daughter called. And, it's a long story, but them people that live out in the woods in Montego, Tennessee, they're motherfuckers. They don't play.
It's about like being in the Ozarks.
Maybe so. Yeah, yeah. Well, other than they don't look as presentable as the Ozark people did.
Right.
I'm telling you, dude, there are people that live. It's a place called Coppinger Cove up in Montego, Tennessee. That's where we were riding. There's people that live in that gorge. We passed by a family living in this blue tarp structure, and they had like 5 kids, all of them boys, stair steps, and they had on one outfit of clothing between the 5 of them. One of them had on the socks, one of them had on the underwear, one of them had on a shirt, one of them had on some pants, but nothing to go with those things. So the one in socks was buck ass naked, just had socks on. Yeah. Well, there's a church. There's a church in that gorge. There's no road to this thing. Those people walk to this stacked rock church inside Coppinger's Cove on Sunday to congregate. Now, like I said, the people we met, those people, those hillbillies that live in the gorge, super friendly, super nice people. But if you don't drop off into it and spend 12 hours going through it and come out the other, if you try to go out the sides, which is only a couple of places you can even get out. It's 150 feet straight up granite walls. You don't fuck around in Montego, Tennessee. And people, I'm not, dude. These guys look like the military, John. They're all on 4-wheelers. They're all in like full spec, full kit, chest plate carriers, magazines, ARs, fucking. They had it all. Yeah. They don't, we rode it 2 years. They don't allow riding in Coppinger Cove anymore. Just because of it. So many people come back with horror stories. Yeah.
Sounds
Joe,
like,
you know where I'm talking about, Mount Eagle? I know you know where Mount Eagle is.
yeah, it's right there on, was it still 75 when you go through Chattanooga?
I thought it was on 20. I know you passed, was it Lake Chickamauga, whatever it is?
Nickajack?
Yeah, the Nickajack. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Nickajack Lake. I thought it was just 24 West.
Is it? Yeah, it's 24. 75 runs into Chattanooga, and then it changes to
if you
24.
go I-94 west, it'll end up taking you up Mont Eagle.
Yeah.
Mont Eagle's kind of like Tennessee's Grapevine. There's like pullovers every quarter mile because so many cars run hot and blow up trying to climb it.
Yeah, and a shit ton of damn runaway truck ramps. And you'll see about every time you go over, you're going to see a truck in the truck ramp.
Joe's probably mad at me for bad mouthing Mont Eagle. You probably know something.
Yeah, but Joe lives in damn what you call it, Knoxville, or Knoxville area. So he ain't. I don't think he calls. He's Eastern Tennessee. Mont Eagle's more Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, that is a different. Yeah, well, I had to get Meathead on here one night and give him tell you a story of Edward T. Kilgo. We met Edward T. Kilgo in Carpenter's Cove, and that was the most interesting motherfucker. That dude had a hand cannon hanging off his belt. It was this big old 44 Magnum with like an 8-inch barrel. But Edward T. Kilgo didn't have no fingers. He was a luster boy. And the only reason he had these, because they cut his big toes off and moved them up there.
Dear Lord.
And I remember thinking, how Edward T. cocked that coat? I wanted to ask him, but I was afraid he'd do it. And once he cocks it, how does he fire it? He ain't got no trigger finger. He just got...
he got a trigger flipper.
Yeah, he just got these things. Never asked, but Edward T. was super nice and invited us to spend that. He actually wanted to go back and shoot that pot field on her. He's like, we'll go back. I'll go right now. I'll go put a bullet in that motherfucker. Being mean to y'all. Yeah.
He sounds like old Dent Myers from Kennesaw, Georgia. If anybody's been to or visited that area, there's a store in Kennesaw called Wildman Civil War Surplus. Yeah. And Wildman is Dent Myers. And he's a character dude. He open carries cross-draw revolvers, and he lived on my bus route between the school and my house, and he's got his whole property surrounded by barbed wire, and it's like he's got signs up that say like if the dogs don't get you, the shotgun will, and shit like that. And
that's why I posted that. I get it 100%. You know, I'm sure the thoughts of those locals, you know, a couple of times a year. You know, and they're letting all these outsiders come ride through their land. I get it completely that they don't like it, and I get completely that, you know, that we had no business, but it's not like we drove through it. You know, I mean, just like any other agricultural field, there was a road around it. 200 yards away is an actual county road we could have got on and got that guy to the hospital. But, you know, and from that point, and that was dead middle of Carpenter's Cove. So it's 6 hours back the other direction. There's 6 hours ahead of us. We had no choice but to drive it. Yeah.
And the old dude made it?
Yeah, barely. And we had to help the paramedics get him out of the Jeep. Probably about 4 hours in, luckily one of the guys had a passenger, a male passenger that could actually do that type thing. So he drove his Jeep, but it was so incapable, it was useless. He should have been on a level 1 trail. And I have no idea how or why they rated it. It was a bone stock 94 Wrangler. It still has a Goodyear Wrangler TSAs on it.
Now that he mentions it, you do, because your damn black, your shirt's black and it blends. Yeah. You do. Yeah. That's good shit there.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, if you want to fuck around and find out, go to Mont Eagle, Tennessee, trespass. You will. The level of fucking around is actually much less than the level of finding out. But you know what was weird? For a southern state, we didn't meet, other than, and I don't call them this, it's not a derogatory term, other than the hillbillies in that gorge, like even the people in town in Mont Eagle weren't friendly. Nobody was friendly except for, I mean, exactly what you're picturing, dude. The Hatfield McCoy's, well, that's got a beard down to his belly button and overalls and no shirt, no shoes. But all those folks inside the gorge of Carpenter's Cove were just super nice. But everybody outside of that was.
Well, typically Mont Eagle's not a place you go to. It's just a place you pass through going to somewhere else.
Absolutely nothing. You know that hotel and restaurant right there on the off ramp?
Yeah.
Field between it and the interstate.
Yeah.
That's where we camped.
Like the Mont Eagle Inn or something like that, or the Eagle something. Yeah.
Yep, that's where we camped, in that big field between the interstate.
And the damn motel looks like it's still back from the 50s or some shit. It hadn't been updated or nothing. I know the
Inside's
last.
that same way.
Yep.
That's it. Like I
Ooh,
said,
I do.
everywhere else I've been in Tennessee, everybody's. But now that I get it, I understand it's because you had all these landowners that were leasing the weekend. They were leasing their land for the weekend to this ride, but you had all these connecting landowners that didn't agree.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was people like us would end up leaving the property that had been leased, and we would end up on somebody else's property, not maliciously, but it happened.
Yeah.
More than just our situation. It happened to several people. They just got lost, ended up on somebody else's property. So I get it, man. Those landowners were just sick of it. This has been going on for years. So they knew exactly when we were coming. They ain't no doubt in my mind. They don't ride around in the woods in full, and I'm talking about a full military tactical outfit. They don't do that every weekend.
Yeah.
At the weekends, those people were up there. But
what's up, G Bizzle?
After the gun incident, we called it. We didn't go back anymore.
Wasn't worth it.
Well, there were friendships ended over it. One guy, Joe, their beards were.
That's a valid point.
Strikingly similar to yours, buddy.
But this is a valid point.
If you had told me, Shane, I was that guy in the overalls, I'd scratch my head and think about it for a minute. It very well could have been. No, that guy was like 6'8", probably weighed 130 pounds.
Well, we don't know how tall Joe is.
Had a black beard down to his belly button.
Or at least I don't.
Wives over cooking. She was boiling fish. They were fishing out of the creek. She was putting them in a big pot. I guess making fish stew or something.
But speaking of southern boiling things, I've got a good friend who's from Philadelphia, and he moved to South Carolina and married a girl there. And he said the first time when they were dating, the first time he went over to her parents' house, they were all hanging out in the backyard or whatever, and her dad was cooking something, but he didn't know what it was. Well, he said his wife told him, his girlfriend at the time was like, she said, my dad's making boiled peanuts. You want some? And he was like, no, I'm good. And they kept offering it to him. Here, have some boiled peanuts. And he kept turning it down. He said, man, I kept getting sicker and sicker because the whole damn time he thought they were saying bull penis. And he thought her dad was over there cooking bull penis and was trying to serve it to him. And he wasn't having none of it.
Joe, I took the shirt off so I don't look like a floating head.
There you go. Now you just look like a sexy piece of man meat.
Yeah. There's another mountain right there around Mont Eagle. That's kind of where the whole outfit moved. I think it was called Raccoon Mountain. Kind of like in Resident Evil, but I could be wrong. They had to kind of relocate it because folks in Mont Eagle were not happy. Like even the Waffle House waitresses were rude. I'm saying, man, that's probably the most money you're making tips all year. Ain't nobody ever in Mont Eagle, and there's people waiting in line in the parking lot.
I thought all Waffle House waitresses were pissy and moody and rude.
Oh, one right here, and you walk over, welcome to Waffle House.
Well, yeah, they can get friendly, but late at night sometimes they get pissy. But I mean, I get why. Yeah. The clientele's not the greatest.
No. The reason I'm saying friendships were lost because there was a guy with us that when the gun got pulled, he had the biggest truck there. It had 2.5-ton Rockwell axles under it. We really needed him. And when the gun got pointed in their faces, he turned around and went back the way we came and left us. And there's still people to this day that have hurt feelings over it. I was like, look, man, that dude had an AR-15 barrel literally 4 feet pointed at his face. Now, you don't know what you're going to do in that situation. He did what that guy told him to do. He turned around and fucking ran. But the problem was we couldn't go back. The rest of us couldn't go that way. We were all in smaller trucks other than Brandon in this big, huge, very capable, probably $50,000 rig. So that was kind of like our teddy bear. You know what I mean? You had confidence because if something goes wrong, Brandon can pull us out. But then when he ran off and left us, everything went to shit. Went bad downhill after that. So everybody got really mad at him for leaving. But the reason we couldn't go back the way we came is because the old man in the Jeep, literally, he was in front of me. I had to hook a strap to him at the back, and the guy hooked a strap to him in front because the guy in front would pull him up on a rock, and I would have to ride my brakes to let him off the rock because his tires were never touching the ground. He was just on the skid pans all day. So it was like, I mean, the only reason we left it running was so the power steering would work. When the tires did touch the ground, it was a bad situation. But his daughter hugged us all, kissed us all, and she thanked us for getting him out of there alive. And her kids. I'm sure she was so concerned about them too. But, you know, we informed her of everything they ate, how much they drank. We kept them. We kept their bellies full and kept them hydrated. Of course, we all had to do without because of it. Because keep in mind, when we went on this ride, it was a 3-hour ride. We were supposed to go down, go to the church, turn around, come back. But we couldn't go back. There's no way we could drag 5,000 pounds of dead weight back up the trail we came down.
Well, when Gilligan and them set off on their little sailing trip, it was supposed to be a 3-hour tour. So you saw what happened there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 3-hour tour.
Yeah.
You could have ended up. How long do you think Gilligan's Island aired?
It wasn't long.
It wasn't. Dude, I would have thought it was 10 years, 12 years. No, it didn't air long at all. And it wasn't successful. Just the reruns were.
But I loved it when I was a kid, man. That was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. I loved it till I got old enough that I started thinking, well, wait a minute. Why'd they do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
when you get some reasoning capabilities, the show starts to kind of.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I guess it was made for adults, but it really landed better with kids because.
Yeah. You know, the 3-hour tour, why did they bring so many sets of clothes?
Yeah.
On a 3-hour tour. Everybody got different clothes on, except for Gilligan and the skipper. Yeah, the women were changing clothes constantly, especially that old rich lady.
Mrs. Howell.
There are probably people in here don't even know what we're talking about, Gilligan's Island.
Oh, come on. If you don't know what Gilligan's Island is, sound off, because I feel like everybody pretty much in here knows what Gilligan's Island is.
My favorite thing as a kid, dude, I used to so look forward to Saturdays and getting up watching the Justice League.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so pumped about that.
Yeah. With the Wonder Twins and damn
it was Superman,
Wonder Woman and Superman.
Yeah, they were all on there. It was so good. Because I grew up without cable. So, I didn't get to watch cartoons. So that there was like a 2-hour window from like, I don't know, 9 to 11 on Saturday morning. They showed cartoons. I didn't care to give a shit about none of them. The hell with the Roadrunner and Bugs Bunny. All I wanted to see was the Justice League. Remember the Legion of Doom?
Yep.
It looked like Darth Vader's helmet out in the swamp.
Yep. And damn, Wonder Woman flew around that little invisible jet.
Yeah. The glass jet. Yeah. That show's pivotal in my life, man, because it changed a lot of things for me. I'm sure I've told you that story about getting up to watch Saturday morning cartoons and my dad coming in and telling me to get the yard ready to mow. I told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty rough day. But it was also a very what's the name for it? It's also a very liberating day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting beat like that for no reason. I remember laying there in a puddle of blood and tears. And it was almost like somebody lifted the weight of the world off my shoulders. That was the first time I remember thinking, you know what? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him. And yeah. And I just didn't care what he thought anymore. It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
And I mean, at that point, it's like, what's the worst he can do to me? He's done his worst. He ain't going to kill me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's all that's left.
Yeah.
You know? And then he tried that a couple of years later. And it didn't work. But I still get really emotional anytime I watch. I know everybody has seen the movie Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Dude, that line when Matt Damon starts talking about his dad used to come in and he'd lay out a belt and a wrench and tell him to pick one. And Robin Williams says, well, that's an easy answer. I'd pick the belt. And Matt Damon said, no, I always picked the wrench. Robin Williams said, "Why?" He said, "Because fuck him. That's why."
Yeah.
Dude, I can watch that right now, and I can guarantee you I'll tear up because I lived it. I know exactly what he's talking about. Anyway, Lancelot, I prefer Mighty Mouse was pretty good.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse.
I didn't mind Mighty Mouse, but yeah, Justice League was my shit when I was a kid.
I was a big fan of Scooby Doo and especially Captain Caveman.
I liked Captain Caveman more than I did Scooby Doo. That's actually who when I'm describing my grandson to people, that's who I tell him he is. He's just a hairless Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman.
Just runs around smashing shit. And he's 7 now, so it's getting out of hand. He got kicked out of his Little League baseball game.
Did he?
Yep, got ejected.
Whipping somebody's ass?
Benched. The umpire threw him out of the game.
What did he do?
He got mad at the umpire and turned his back on him.
Oh shit!
He just turned around, turned his back to him, wouldn't turn back around, so the umpire could speak to him. And he told the coach, he said, "If he don't turn around, I'm going to throw him off. I'm going to throw him out of this game for being like a safety violation because he had his back to the pitcher too." And Cam wouldn't do it. He threw him out. Cam looked at. Then Cam turned around and said, "Fine, I don't want to play anymore anyway." So he made him run laps after the game. His mom went up to him and said, they made him run all the way around the field like 5 times. And, which is twice as big when you're that small. And his mama walked up to him afterwards and said, "Well, son, did you learn your lesson?" He's like, "What lesson? I love to run." He was too, dude. He was just jovial. Out there like an impala. Just running his laps. He didn't give a damn. Yeah. The issue was, the reason he got mad was because he would get down to catch where the ball was landing so he could actually catch it. And the ump would complain that he was too close to the batter. Because if that bat touches you, it's the same as a home run. So all the batter's got to do is touch the umpire with the bat. Little League, it's a run. But then he would fuss at him because they kept having to go to the backstop to get the ball every pitch. It was because he backed him up and he couldn't catch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Finally, Cam was like, "Just fuck y'all, whatever." And I should be mad at him. I probably should say something to him about sportsmanship. But that kid don't do no wrong in my eyes.
No. You pawpaw.
I'm expecting that phone call. Pawpaw. I'm looking at my wife. "Boy, it's 3 a.m. Yeah, Pawpaw, you come get me. It's going to cost you about $500. God, I forgot about Speed Buggy, King Slade.
I love Speed Buggy.
What was that dog that had that laugh?
Muttley.
I used to could do it. Let me try it.
You dude it.
Yeah, that's Muttley. I didn't even remember his name. That was the Hanna-Barbera crowd. So I remember at the end of it.
It was like, wasn't that Magilla Gorilla, the Laugh Olympics?
Yeah. I used to tell people, not only is that Muttley's laugh, it's also trying to crank a Dodge without a choke. Think about them gear reduction starters on a Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds just like him. I've tried to get into anime just to see what you guys, and I don't know. I just can't. It just ain't for me, I guess. I even watched Sturgill. Oh shit, I forgot his name. Is it Sturgill Simpson?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I even watched his anime. It was somewhat better, but still couldn't get much into it. I guess Heavy Metal was anime though, wasn't it? Remember that was cartoon? It was kind of anime.
Nah. Heavy Metal's not anime. That's just animation.
Oh. Well, what's the difference? I mean, there was titties and violence and sci-fi, and it was all animated.
What I mean, anime is specifically
has to be Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I got a couple I'll recommend to you, and you check them out. I think you'll dig them.
That's right. If there ain't nudity and violence, I don't want to watch it.
Oh, there's nudity and violence.
Maybe send me a timestamp for when that part starts.
Just save you the time to watching the other bullshit. Huh?
That's what on to this part. Dude, I was a huge fan, and that's why a lot of people recommend anime to me, because they tell me if I liked this game, I would love anime. It's not Japanese, but literally, me and my wife spent eight years, probably 8 years, and we played the same video game at least a couple nights a week. I've never spent $60 on a video game and got my money's worth like I did that one. And people used to call it the perfect girlfriend game because you can play it split screen with your girlfriend, and even if she's not great, you can kind of make up for it. But it was Borderlands 2. Dude, we played so much Borderlands 2, and I ain't gonna make no excuses for why I was on Pornhub, but I was. And I guess the algorithm clicked. I don't know, and it popped up. They've even got Borderlands porn. Like all the animated characters from Borderlands. Like, you gotta fucking be kidding me. No pornography, anything.
Did you enjoy it?
I didn't watch it.
Bullshit.
Why would I watch animated porn when there's real porn?
I mean, I don't know. It's because it's there.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I loved Borderlands by myself as a single player game. But not so much co-op. But Borderlands 2 co-op was an incredible experience, because I also had a buddy here in town, so we played together, you know, via the interweb, and you know, so I'd play with him one night for 3 or 4 hours, and play with my wife the next night for 3 or 4 hours. I don't know how deep you got into it, Mass Faction, but I got very deep. I've probably watched 100 hours of Killer 6's videos. Because a lot of casual Borderland players didn't know this, but there were certain pieces of gear that you could get, and you'd probably had it before and either threw it away or sold it, because it didn't seem like it was very good. But if you watch Killer 6's videos, some of this gear you find, well, if you use this shield with this gun and this hand and that, dude, it was like firing nuclear bombs every time you pulled the trigger. It was just, you get one shot kill down there, everything. Now, I don't know if the creator of Borderlands meant for it to be that way, but, you know, they put the mechanics of all this stuff in there. Some of it would not only stack, but multiply, depending on the gear that you used with it. It was crazy. I didn't play Tiny Tina's sequel. I played the pre-sequel 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I finished all those.
You and Maddie getting along pretty well tonight. That's nice to see.
Well, he's still stupid. But... Matter of fact, when I had to just jump on one night and have a little duel. I've got a Gunzerker Salvador I'd waste you with. I bet Mass Faction probably played a 0 too. You're probably them lame ass people that played a 0. Because he was just stealthy sniper. But the writing for Borderlands is what's incredible, dude. The humor is very adult. It's it's great. It's a really good time. And even if you finish the game, you can go back and play it and sometimes just find a random talking rock that's got some really cool shit to say that you didn't see the first time. Yeah. Necromancer. Sage was kind of hot. I don't blame me for playing with Sage, even though she had that robotic arm and leg. Anyway, do you still play? Is it cross? Is it cross-platform compatible? Because I got it. We'll jump in and play sometime if you want to.
Y'all need to Twitch stream it. Can you do that?
I don't know. Hey, does anybody know Maddie's probably the only other person in here that might know this, but you know how when you upload a video, or when you record a video, and then you upload it to YouTube, like sometimes it'll have more options than YouTube. It'll have like YouTube and Instagram or Facebook. How do you get Rumble added to that? Because is it as simple as uploading? You just click upload and it goes to YouTube and Rumble, or is it a whole different process?
Is Rumble on there? Because that might not be a service that you're able to stream to through StreamYard. I think you can only stream
I don't have to use
whatever.
StreamYard, but I'd like to. When I go to upload my videos, if it was as simple as just clicking on the Rumble and click upload, put in a title, I'd start uploading all my stuff. I just think it'd be a great idea to go ahead and, what you've already got, that's on your hard drive, just go ahead and upload it to Rumble. Because
I think you specifically have to have a channel on Rumble and upload it through Rumble.
Channel on Rumble.
No,
and this is the thing. Rumble pays more, and Rumble. I really think Rumble is going to blow up now. Not enough people go there. Like Super Still Steve moved there because of the, the censorship. They don't have any on Rumble. Well,
there you go.
But nobody would follow him. Elmer Fudd. No, never mind. Anyway, they're starting to pay some really big names to be on Rumble. I'm not a fan of the guy anymore, but Steven Crowder is on Rumble now. There's rumors that Tucker Carlson may end up on Rumble. So they start getting some big names on there, dude. If you get your stuff on there now, you never know. You might blow up on Rumble and end up making a shit ton of money over there.
You might do it.
Did y'all hear about the whole Steven Crowder thing?
Yeah. Did
you watch the video?
Yeah. Which I've always saw that in him. I've never been a big fan of his.
Cringy, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was just him.
Hit her or anything,
but that's kind of how he is towards everybody, though.
I don't know. I guess because there's always a little bit of humor involved.
Yeah,
sarcasm. I didn't think that, but man.
But his humor is always belittling.
It's not just that he talked to her so horribly. He just came across as such a bitch about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't watch him anymore, dude. It ruined me on Steven Crowder. Yeah.
And then his whole his attitude.
Can we cross platform though? Because I don't remember 2 being cross platform. I think 3 might be. 3 was fun, but nothing was better than 2.
All right, brother Jake, take her easy, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, for you guys that have hung out through all this for 3.5 hours, us talking about the most random bullshit ever, we love you.
Oh yeah,
that's incredible, man.
100%.
I know a lot of it's because you're chatting with your buddies over there in the chat bar too, but that's still awesome.
I mean, they're hanging out with us though, so
Starship Troopers Invasion.
That's a huge.
Of Mars animated movies were done really.
Can you read to yourself, Shane?
No, okay. I won't remember a fucking word of it. If I read it to myself, I can read just fine. But if you ask me, hey, would you just read? I don't know. My brother's he can't even do it if he reads it out loud. My brother can read perfectly fine, but he can read 2 sentences. Let him read it 4 or 5 times. Then you ask him what it said. You don't know. Just something. Maybe it was all that meth. I don't know, because he was like that before that. He just can't absorb anything he reads. But of all the thousands of head of cattle that's gone through that ranch, he can tell you can pick any random ear tag number, and he can tell you that heifer's birth weight, her wean weight, the birth weight and wean weight of every calf she ever dropped, what they brought at auction. It's like a hard drive.
He's like a savant.
He has all that information in his head. 2 is not, but what do you play on? I just got a Xbox 360. No. You know what that is? Xbox One. Yeah. Xbox One. I don't have a good enough computer to play anything.
That does sound like a pretty good
Computer
life there,
players
crispy
cheat
critter.
too much.
Huh?
Computer players cheat too much anyway when you're playing games. It's so easy to download mods and cheats, and you can't do all that on console. Yeah, Cheeto Bandito, I can read.
He just don't remember what he read.
Well, short stuff like that, I will. I've just been reading. I really need to wear my reading glasses when I'm on here. I know how attractive all this squinting is.
That's
I
the
don't know
boomer.
about you, but I am getting tired, dude.
Yeah, I was about to. I would say cut it short, but I don't. At this point, we're not really cutting it short.
No, this is a classic. This is a classic Tuesday shenanigans, isn't it?
It is all shenanigans all the time.
Yeah, classic Grooves Day. That's why I ate that piece of candy last week. Because I assumed you and Stevie had put in at least 3.5, 4 hours.
We put in 2.5, and I mean, you know, it was kind of a pilot episode.
Yeah, I think it went really well. So did this one.
Yes, sir. Well,
2 a.m. on the East Coast.
It sure is.
Yeah.
1 a.m. on the not quite as East Coast.
I divulged as much personal information as I possibly can tonight. Hope y'all don't think any less of me for it. But
well, and
I love y'all.
That means my job here is complete, buddy. That's what I set out to do.
To get me to divulge information.
Of course.
I keep thinking I'm going to run out, but in the back of my head, I'm like, no, I got a bunch more.
You're like an artesian well of personal information. So,
Maybe I might be interested in coming on your Monday night mental health show. But I promise you, if you get me on there and get to talking, it's going to get ugly. I'm going to end up in tears, and people are going to think I'm a sissy, and it's going to get ugly. Yeah, I went to a therapist they had one 1 hour session with him, and at the end of it, all he said was, "I have hospitalized hundreds of people who have had much less traumatic lives than you have." So, yeah.
That's all for you, Dopey. But yeah, we damn sure appreciate y'all hanging out with us, putting up with our bullshit for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And
we love you guys,
each and every one of you. You got anything to say, Shane?
Just that I appreciate any amount of time y'all spend with me. Peace. Love y'all.
You can get on out there and EDC your asses off, all 23 of those asses, and do something nice if you get the chance. Love you guys. Huh?
It's going to take him a minute.
I mean, I ain't even started, so of course it's going to take me a minute. You jackass. Love you guys. Y'all have a good night. Now see.